be a Steelers, consider others before you consider yourself. To protect your brother, even from himself. To give support at your own expense. And when wearing the black and gold suit of armor, make sure nobody desecrates it, disrespects it. Most importantly, we ourselves don't dishonor it. Approval from previous legends who have donned the black and gold. These virtues I learned while playing for the Steelers are what make the legacy of the black and gold timeless. They are passed down in the locker room from the steel curtain to anyone who valiantly wears the black and gold. Creating a brotherhood that is deeper than money, business, and winning. To be a Steelers, consider others before you consider yourself. This is our culture, Steeler culture.
Now, here are your hosts, Rob and Dan, the SteelTwins.
Steelers Nation, happy Saturday night, man. We are the SteelTwins coming at you episode 53 of the Steeler Culture Podcast. And boy, do we have a ton to talk about. A lot. Yesterday was a big day in regards to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
A lot of news as it pertains to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, a lot. And even more today, which will, I guess that's how we're going to open this. But first, we want to thank you guys for joining us, episode 53. Shout out to Marquise Pouncey. Not Kendrick Green. 53. Get it? Because we need a center. Draft a center. You guys get it.
Yes.
I want to announce one quick little thing before we get into the topics today, which will include a lot regarding the cuts of Robinson and Peterson. We'll discuss that. The meetings that the Steelers had with free agents Russell Wilson and Mitch Morse, as well as the Deontay Johnson trade update rumors that are happening around the league. We'll talk about that. And, of course, we got to get into some free agency talk as the new league year is right around the corner.
Yep.
And the legal tampering period is Monday at noon.
Yes, it is.
So we got a lot to talk about. Before we get into it, man, we want to announce a quick little update on the swear jar, which, as you can see, is a lot emptier now.
Outside of a quarter, to which Dan put that in the last live stream with the collaboration we did with our buddy Steel Sentinel. Huge shout out to him.
Yes, huge shout out to him. Great discussion we had. What was that, Thursday night?
Yes, but we did empty it. We did count out how many coins or how many times we cussed.
And let me
how much the cost was worth, really.
And last year we had $84 worth.
You remembered?
Yes.
I completely forgot.
Thanks to Twitter. $84 worth. Shut up. $84 worth last year in the swear jar.
And that had been a full season, correct?
Correct. Because that's the thing. We do it from Super Bowl to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This past year, we had $178, which I'm not going to lie to you, I kind of feel ashamed in that fact because that's a lot of cussing when in regards to coins.
That it is, yes.
I feel a little ashamed, I'm not going to lie. But the point of it is because, first of all, the swear jar thing in football is always a common tie-in, and it's the best way we can give back to you guys, the audience, for all the support you guys have been giving us for many years now and going forward. Can't thank you guys enough, man. In fact, we just hit 14.5K subscribers. That's a wild
Big
milestone.
props to you guys, man.
So,
Big props. Thank you guys.
Exactly,
Seriously.
man. Thank you guys so much. So the best way we can give back to you guys is via the swear jar, because whatever the amount we have in the swear jar at the end of the season, we put that money into a giveaway. Or in this case, this year, giveaways. But because of the amount we had in the swear jar, I was able to purchase not one, but 2 signed Pittsburgh Steelers jerseys, which will be up for giveaway very shortly. They are still shipping to us. I have not received them yet. We have not received them yet, but I will give you guys an update. They are a George Pickens signed jersey, and of course, Joey Porter Jr. signed jersey. Both will be rallied off, will be part of a giveaway, which will be exclusive to only STN members, which is literally only $1.99 a month. Damn near free. That's the best way we can get back to you guys, is the people that put in their money to support us via the memberships. And it's the easiest way for us to bring people into the memberships, because it already has the list for everyone already qualified.
Of course.
So that will be coming for the STN members. One of the jerseys will be a draft giveaway jersey. Probably Joey Porter Jr., since he was drafted last year and it's draft season. Kind of ties in.
Makes sense, absolutely.
But a George Pickens signed jersey giveaway will be here shortly. Just stay tallied with us via the community tab, via X at SteelTwins. We'll keep you guys updated on that regarding the George Pickens giveaway. But that's coming in the mail. It should be here shortly. Hopefully by Monday we can get you guys entered and out for the giveaway as soon as possible.
Absolutely, man.
So thank you guys enough for that, seriously. Now let's get into the discussion, man. We got to open it off with Deontay Johnson, because it's the freshest news. It's the hottest news going around right now. It's the latest update in regards to the Steelers and free agency. Deontay Johnson, first of all, this was what? Oh, it was last week.
Yeah, last week. It was merely a rumor at the time. It was merely just that, a rumor of the Steelers could be listening to offers or open to offers about Deontay Johnson when it comes to trades.
Right.
Now, today, this morning, it was actually reported by ESPN personality Diana Ruzzini on X right here. She stated, and I quote, "The Steelers are open to listening to trade offers on wide receiver Deontay Johnson. There is interest from teams around the league as general managers are getting set for free agency."
Yes, that was tweeted by Diana Ruzzini.
Yes.
This morning. This is no shock to me, because I would imagine they would be open to listening to offers. They'd be silly enough to not be open to listening to offers. They should listen to offers. Now, what is the price tag? What is proper compensation in regards to trading Deontay Johnson? In our honest opinion, no less than a second-round pick. We got a second-rounder for Claypool, for God's sake. Deontay Johnson.
Now you could look at that, and I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to throw this out there. You could look at it at the situation when it came to the trade deadline at that time, was the Bears were desperate for a wide receiver, and you got to thank Green Bay, considering that they traded away Devontae Adams. They had 2 rookie wide receivers. This was before the emergence of Christian Watson.
Right.
The Packers, they were desperate for a wide receiver, but the Bears kind of wanted to get one over their division rival. And they knew of the potential that Claypool had at the time.
Yeah.
So they took the risk just to get one up against the rival. At least this is in my opinion. This is from my perspective.
Right.
That they wanted to get one over the Green Bay Packers, their rival, and they wanted to throw in a high pick just to make sure that they got Claypool and to pretty much go with the risk of his potential.
That's fair. That's a fair.
Obviously, it didn't work.
That's an honest opinion. I think Deontay should be traded for no less than a second rounder, because if you get anything less than that, I would be accepting to a third-round pick, but it had to be a high third-round pick, not one of those late third-rounders that almost might as well be a fourth-round pick, one of those really late day 2 picks. If you're going to trade him for a third-rounder, it should be a high third-rounder, in my opinion. I'm willing to accept that, but even then, Johnson is well-established. I know he's not the most consistent. I know he still has some issues that are reoccurring every single year with Johnson.
Especially in recent memory when it comes to his production on the field.
And of course, he has 1 year left in his contract. So whoever trades for him is going to have to pay him a new contract. That's just going to have to happen. So those factors come in as possibly washing down his trade value.
Right.
But in my opinion, I don't think the Steelers are going to trade Johnson if they don't get too great of an offer. Because why would you? If they... Like, look at Jerry Jeudy today, for instance. The Broncos I know. Yeah. The Broncos traded Jeudy away to the Browns, hilariously, for a 5th and 6th round pick. if that is Johnson's trade market, you might as well even keep him. You might as well keep him. And the odds are he's probably going to get an extension if they decide to keep him. That's what I'm banking my money on. But there's always a chance that he doesn't resign, and he could walk away. He could hit free agency. He could try to hit a better market. Maybe he wants to entertain that idea. Very likely. It's obviously always going to be a possibility, an option for Deontay. So if they can't extend him, which at this point of the season, at this point of the year, I don't see why they couldn't. But if they can't extend him, if he's just going to walk, you might as well get whatever you can out of him.
Yeah, which I would imagine will be a comp pick for next year.
Right.
When it comes to Deontay Johnson in this situation, I've always been up to trading away Deontay Johnson because I believe we can replace him again, where the Pittsburgh Steelers, replacing wide receivers is nothing to them, nothing to the Steelers whatsoever.
Oh, I know.
It's easy.
We
for
flushed
them.
out wide receivers like it's a factory.
It's easy for them. But with this current situation that the Steelers are right now at wide receiver, considering that they did release Allen Robinson yesterday, we'll get into more discussion about that later, but now we only have 2 wide receivers. That's it. Technically 3 on the roster with Calvin Austin, but like 2 prominent and big role wide receivers
number 1,
on the
number
team.
2, obviously, Johnson and Pickens, you're right.
Yeah.
So if we were to trade Johnson, which if they were to trade Johnson, it would have to be within a week because he gets a $3 million roster bonus if he's here post next week, which means at that point, the Steelers might as well keep him if they're going to pay him $3 million already. So if they're going to trade him, they better get an enticing offer within a week or so. Otherwise, they're already paying him his roster bonus. So in that case, if they trade him before that time, they're only going to have 2 wide receivers on the roster.
That's it.
They're going to create a massive gap at wide receiver.
And they better, if Johnson were to be traded, they better have a big backup plan on exactly who's going to replace Johnson and who they're going to add as far as depth goes as well.
And that would absolutely bring up wide receiver into the early stages of the draft in regards to Steelers' needs.
And quite honestly, at the moment, with the type of hole and how many holes we have before going into free agency, do they really want to add wide receiver to that pile?
It depends on the offer. If they get a second rounder or a high third rounder, I'm trading him.
Would a team trade a big comp pick like that?
I don't know. Unless they have the capital to trade away.
That's a big possibility.
And then the question is, who do you trade Johnson to? Do you want to trade him within the conference? Do you want to trade him outside the conference? Ideally outside the conference.
You would definitely want to do that.
And of course, when it comes to Deontay Johnson being traded and for wide receiver needy teams, the biggest one that comes to mind is either the Chiefs or the Bears. And you guys already know who we could get in return from both those teams.
Could be part of that package.
It could be. And they would try to fill a hole by trading Deontay in regards to that, which would be an even trade there. So if they can't get any less, or if they can't get anything higher than a second or a high third round pick or a player to fill one of these many gaps, I wouldn't even bother. But they're going to listen as they should. That doesn't mean they're going to trade him. They're going to listen to offers. It's not like Johnson's out there exploring trade options. It's not like the Steelers are out there exploring trade options. They're just going to listen.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those things that are going to be put on the back burner. And if it starts boiling a little too crazy, then, they're going to look at that as a main priority.
Yeah, if the return is something that they cannot pass up on, then they're going to pull the trigger. Yeah. They're going to push that button. They're going to make the trade. But if it's anything less than that, then I honestly want to consider it.
Absolutely. Also, in regards to free agency, I want to point this out. In regards to free agency, if the Steelers can sign a decent wide receiver early on into free agency, such as Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, if they sign a decent enough receiver, they might already have his replacement on the roster, which could entice some Deontay Johnson trade rumors or trade ideas or trade options, trade offers from teams.
Right.
Just want to throw it out there because come Monday, come Tuesday, come Wednesday, I expect Khan and the Steelers to be very busy in regards to filling some of these holes with the cap space they now have and with more to maybe be created. Fingers crossed. So maybe they can sign a decent enough receiver, and that could open up the idea of, hey, we just signed this guy. Trading Deontay doesn't sound that too drastic anymore. Yeah. Just want to throw it out there.
I would have to imagine a receiver-needy team is going to be going into free agency and looking for those type of receivers just as much. Yeah. Probably even more aggressively than the Steelers.
Yeah, because there's plenty of teams out there that have more cap space than us. Yeah. They do. And I see it in the chat. You guys are saying Tyler Boyd to the Steelers. That's one of the guys on our wish list. Don't want to jump ahead, but yeah, that's one of the guys on our wish list. Tyler Boyd would be a great addition. I'm not worried about the past comments he's made about this team because, frankly, he has been 100% correct. He was a Pitt Panther before becoming a Cincinnati Bengal. He knows what it's like to play in Pittsburgh.
Let me say this. If Larry Ogunjobi can put his belief with Mason Rudolph in that situation with Myles Garrett as water under the bridge, then Tyler Boyd with his comments can do just the same.
Yeah. Although he is a slot guy. He's not an outside receiver. And we're not going to use a slot weapon as much as we used to.
No, but Boyd in his role, whatever role, he shows, reliability.
Reliability, leadership, toughness.
Experience.
Absolutely.
Blocking ability.
So, maybe that's one of the guys that want to entertain.
Boyd can really do it all. He's done it in Cincinnati. He's going to do it with whatever team he signed with. Because I don't think he stays a Bengal.
No, definitely, especially with them already tagging T. Higgins in them. So
yeah.
But basically, the Steelers are going to listen to Deontay Johnson trade offers. They should listen, but they shouldn't trade him if they're going to get something like a Jerry Jeudy offer. Not going to happen. At this point, you might as well keep him, get as much left out of him as you can, and maybe, most likely, he'll get a contract extension. Either way, it's not a bad option whatsoever in regards to the Steelers in their future. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Now, we got to talk about the cuts that the Steelers made early yesterday, which was Patrick Peterson and Allen Robinson, which, were probably two of the most obvious cuts to make at this stage of free agency in regards to the Steelers. Patrick Peterson was a little more of a surprise to us.
Yeah, because of the type of comments that Mike Tomlin said about Pat Pete, about his experience, his mentorship to the secondary, most importantly, JPJ, his versatility, just everything about Pat Pete. Mike Tomlin was very vocal and passionate about.
Yeah,
he had a lot of praise about Pat Pete's ability as a Steeler overall.
Right. But his cap hit was just way too high to remain for his last year of his contract. And that thought, we thought they'd give him a 1-year extension at no extra cost to cut the cap hit in half for this year so that he remains on the team, maybe plays the safety position. He's a continued mentor for a very young and probably younger secondary to come.
That's what I expected the Steelers to do, and I'm sure that they explored that option.
But the cost was too high, and thus Patrick Peterson is now on the market once again.
Yeah, they just came to an ultimate conclusion to just cut him, save the $6.85 million in cap space. It was a conclusion and ultimately the right decision.
It was. I'm appreciative of Patrick Peterson and his mentorship, especially to a guy like Joey Porter Jr. I think that did a huge thing for Porter in his early stage of his NFL career. So we're thankful for that. We're thankful for the 1 year he did. But yeah, the cost was too high. We need to get younger and we need to get faster at that position. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. So Pat Pete's on the market. And now this really brings up that the Steelers need a cornerback too badly. Because if they didn't cut Patrick Peterson, we all know he shouldn't be the cornerback too, but at least they would have had an experienced little backup plan, which again is not a very good one, but they at least would have had that in their back pocket. Now they don't. This really brings up that they really need a cornerback too. And not just that, a slot corner and a strong safety.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They got to fix up. I don't even, no, not really fix up. They got to fill that secondary. That's what they really got to do.
Yeah, no more revolving door, no more Reynolds like we did last year with Neal and Casey, right? Not like that. We knew Patrick Peterson wasn't going to be here too long. He was pretty much a 1-year rental. We got to fulfill these positions. Slot corner's been a revolving door since Hilton left. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
But we got to fulfill these guys. We got to fulfill these positions. It's a massive need. I would say it's probably up there with center and tackle.
Now with this release, yes.
Like seriously.
Because we don't have anybody else.
No, we don't.
Not at all.
No, we don't. Along with Patrick Peterson, they cut Allen Robinson, which was the biggest no-brainer all offseason for the Steelers. This saves over $10 million in cap space.
Yeah.
Saves $10 million in cap space. It took them a while to do it, but they finally did it.
And just like Pat Pete, I would have to imagine that they tried to come to a conclusion of a restructured deal, a new contract, so to speak. But again, after weighing their options, they just came to a conclusion to just, cut the guy, save your money, and just move on.
There's always the
And again, it was the right decision.
Yes, there's always the possibility he comes back under a new contract.
That's a big possibility.
Very similar to what they did with Vince Williams before he retired. They cut him because the cap was too high. They were signing him back under a cheaper deal before he retired mid-training camp. But, it's very possible that that's still an option in regards to Allen Robinson's future. But, yeah, cutting Allen Robinson was an easy enough decision to make. And the Steelers save just about $17 million in cap space by those two cuts alone.
It's a lot of money.
And now they're absolutely under the cap, and they're sitting at roughly $26 million in cap space, with more to possibly be created tomorrow and for Monday and for Tuesday and for, onward.
I'd like to think that there'd be more to come. You can still restructure contracts of maybe Minka, maybe Highsmith, Cam Hayward, most importantly. Maybe Ogunjobi.
Yeah, Cam Hayward, absolutely. I'm appreciative of what he did in the black and gold. He's a Steeler legend.
Never taking anything away from the guy.
But he's going to be 35 years old shortly. He has one of the biggest cap hits that we have all year. He has to take a reducement. I'm sorry. No disrespect, but he needs to take a cap reducement. Something. Extend him a year, cut it in half, something. Has to happen. That'd save us a lot more cap space. That'd give us well over $30 million heading into Monday, or $30 million heading into free agency as the new league year is going to hit.
And all the positions that we're going to be addressing and talking about, they have to fill those, man.
I don't know when was the last time we had this much cap space heading into when the legal tampering period was.
I couldn't tell you.
It's been a minute, but we have a decent amount. $26 million is a very good amount. I think Omar Khan's he's gonna be like a kid in a candy store. He's gonna spend, when you got your allowance or you got your birthday money as a kid and you couldn't wait to spend it all. I feel like Omar Khan's going to be that. He's just going to get excited with how much he has to spend, and then he's going to try to fulfill a lot of these positions early on.
Hey, listen, he did that last year.
He did.
He did that last year. I think that's going to be a repeat. At least fingers crossed it's going to be a repeat this year.
Yes. So sitting at roughly $26 million after the cuts of Robinson and Peterson, it just had to happen. The right decision. And now we move on. Now we move on into free agency. We got to fulfill these guys' spots. And I think they're definitely going to do it in free agency. They have a lot of options to look at in regards to both these positions, as well as quarterback and center, because they met with Russell Wilson and Mitch Morse, two very experienced guys at their respective positions.
Yep.
At one point, two of the best at their positions, arguably. I mean, this is a little bit of a shock to me, because I swear I thought they were going to go with a younger option in certain areas of these positions. With quarterback, they want a veteran. They want someone to come in as competition. You want someone to compete with Kenny. You want that veteran mentorship under Kenny. But Russell Wilson is still, even now, after a couple of days of pounding on it, is still a little bit of a shock to me, because again, we didn't think that they'd bring in a guy like Wilson for an interview, because that would force Kenny on the bench.
Yeah.
In no universe is Russell Wilson going to have a competition battle with Kenny, and in no universe is Russell Wilson sitting behind Kenny. It's not happening.
Yeah.
He's not coming into Pittsburgh to play backup to one of the worst starting quarterbacks last year. Not happening. If the Steelers sign Russell Wilson, which has not been made official yet because it cannot, because he's still under contract with the Broncos. He has not been officially cut yet.
He's been given permission to speak with other teams, which he has.
Yes.
But he can't sign yet.
No. But if they do sign Russell Wilson, he is your starter next year.
He's your quarterback one. No question, if or ands about it.
Yes.
It
wouldn't be a bad option. It wouldn't be. I don't love it, but I don't really hate it at the same time. Like we said on Thursday with the stream we did with Sentinel, man, the way I see it, the 2024 season in regards to the Steelers and the quarterback situation, no matter who's the quarterback, whether it's Kenny, whether it's Mason, whether it's Wilson, whether it's Tannehill, whether it's whoever, it's going to be a bridge guy. The Steelers are not going to make a move, or they're not going to make too high of a move that's going to bring in the future. Yeah. They don't have it on the roster, and they're not going to bring in someone that will be the future at a high cost in terms of capital, trade capital, or cap space.
Of course.
So whoever's the starting quarterback, it's going to be a bridge. At this point, you might as well find the best possible bridge quarterback for your roster. That could arguably be Russell Wilson.
And that may not only is he arguably the best option as a bridge quarterback, maybe the cheapest option from a cap standpoint.
Yeah, because he's still getting a lot of guaranteed money by the Broncos.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have to cost a lot to get under contract. He could literally play under the vet minimum, and he would be the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think he would take the Steelers to new heights. I don't think he makes them contenders like a lot of people are saying. But would he be the best available bridge option? Yeah, arguably.
Yeah.
You know, last year he showed he still has a little bit left in the tank. He's not prime Russell Wilson. He's not Russell Wilson throwing 40 touchdowns a season anymore. It's not going to happen. It's just not. But in the Arthur Smith system with the weapons he has, maybe he can add a little extra spark to the offense that we've been waiting for a while.
Yeah.
Just maybe. I wouldn't get my hopes up too great. I wouldn't get my expectations too high if Russell Wilson is a Steeler, because I just don't expect too heavy of achievement. I don't expect any greater advancement in regards to that.
Right.
I don't. I see him as a bridge. I see him as a guy that's going to keep Tomlin above the non-losing seasons, and that's about it. Maybe we'll compete for a playoff spot. Maybe we can actually compete for a playoff win.
If that.
If
that.
But that's about it. It'd be very similar to honestly what we did with Mason last year. Although I would prefer Mason because I just think he deserves the opportunity. He has more chemistry with the targets. And frankly, man, I mean, after the finish last year, I think he deserves it.
No, he absolutely does,
earned it.
100%. I don't think anybody can take away what Mason did when he came in. I don't think anyone's ever going to deny that he deserves the opportunity.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
No, I mean,
and again, I see this meeting, this interview, this visit by Russell Wilson to the Steelers as weighing their options type of moment here.
I mean, he's also Wilson's weighing his options because before he met with the Steelers, he met with the Giants.
Yeah, and apparently he's also possibly going to be meeting with the Raiders, who obviously need a quarterback. So not only is the Steelers weighing their options, but so is Russell Wilson. But when it comes to the Steelers weighing their options, you know, they're just looking out. They're keeping their eye on the free agency market, to keep an eye out for a guy like Russell Wilson, you know, just to take a look at him, bring him in, interview him, see what he's about, see what he can bring.
Yeah.
Probably see what the cap situation is with Denver, you know, get more of an insight feel of, you know, how they can take care of it.
Right.
How they can negotiate when it comes to contract discussions. And, you know, at the same time, you know, just see what's going on with Mason and his agent, see what their interest is, see if they have any possible interest from other teams going about now, you know?
Right, absolutely. In regards to Russell Wilson meeting the Steelers, I don't know exactly what all other teams he has to visit. He met with the Giants, that's confirmed. He met with the Steelers, that's confirmed. I'm hearing Vegas, maybe.
Yeah, possibly the Raiders, yeah.
Potentially Minnesota. We don't know what the future is on Kirk Cousins. So he definitely has multiple teams he could visit. I don't think this would be like a Mitch Trubisky situation where he goes after his very first or very few couple offers. He's going to look at all the offers on the table. In my opinion, I think Russell Wilson to the Steelers would be Russell Wilson's best fit in terms of success. Any other team, maybe the Raiders under the new administration, that's still a little unproven. But there's that little excitement with the Vikings, him and Jay Jettas and Addison. That could be a little interesting with the Giants under DeBoer and his system. That could be interesting. But if you're talking in terms of success and just, I mean, I don't want to say recently because, I mean, our success recently is just mediocrity. But, I mean, if that's what this organization is all about now, if that's what Rooney and Tomlin are all about, which that appears, then, yeah, Wilson would be the best fit in that regard.
Yeah.
But my question is, would that end the story from Mason Rudolph's in Pittsburgh?
I think it would really come down to negotiations.
Yeah.
When it comes to free agency, when it comes to teams interested in Mason just as much as Wilson, you know, just see what the best offer is, or what the best case is.
Or is it possible if we do get Russell Wilson under the vet minimum contract, which honestly, at that point, if you can get him under the vet minimum contract, it really won't cost anything to bring him in. Might as well.
Yeah, dirt cheap.
Literally. But because of that, if that is a likely possibility, that could still add the option for the Steelers to bring back Mason as well. And thus, it would be Russell Wilson and Mason Rudolph competing for the starting job in training camp. Yes, Kenny Pickett would compete too, but he's not going to win. He's not going to win.
No,
he would be forced.
Spoiler, guys, he would be third string.
He would be forced on the bench, which would go against everything that the Steelers have been stating all offseason in regards to Kenny. How Khan said he believes in Kenny. Mike Tomlin says he believes in Kenny. Rooney says he believes in Kenny. So that would go against literally every fucking thing they said regarding Kenny Pickett and their commitments and their trust in Kenny Pickett, which they're in a very small group, but that's them. So it would go against everything they said. But would that better our quarterback situation? Yes, it would. Yes, it would. That would revamp the quarterback situation. That would revamp the competition there. And pretty much they'd be, I don't want to say moving on, but they would literally force Kenny on the bench to learn, which I think he needs.
Quite honestly, at this point and his play on the field, it might be the best case for him.
Yeah.
It might be the best case. Yes, even him being 26 years old already in the NFL, his third year in the league, he still needs some, if anything, to salvage this first-round draft pick. Have him sit, have him learn, have him be mentored.
Yeah. At least be a
just something.
At least be a quality backup,
I guess.
Unless he can improve, because there is still that. I don't want to sound like there isn't a chance he can improve. But based on what we've seen,
I'm not holding my breath.
I'm not expecting anything crazy. I'm sorry. And no, I'm not falling for this O-line and this OC situation. I saw Mason with the same fucking core perform a lot better. So that's all I need to know about Kenny Pickett. I'm sorry. So if they bring in Russell Wilson, that's an upgrade. If they bring Wilson in along with Mason, that'd be an interesting little competition. That would be interesting. I think that'd be a little fun to watch. But again, the 2024 season, at least what I'm looking at, is the year of the bridge quarterback. Which bridge gives us the best chance? That could be Wilson. That could be Mason. I entertain the option because why the fuck not? If we can get him for the vet minimum, why not? Why not? But in regards to his meeting with the Steelers, this is according to Josina Anderson on X. She said, heard Russell Wilson had a great meeting in Pittsburgh so far. I was told he sat with Steelers OC Arthur Smith for hours.
Quote unquote.
And that he looked happy.
Quote unquote.
I was also told Wilson did his homework.
Quote unquote.
Reaching out to some players in advance per source. Mike Tomlin moves like a G in lasagna, so we'll see how much carryover there is after Russell Wilson retreats to his quarters, according to Josina Anderson. So the meeting was long, and it was very, very good, apparently.
Yeah.
So obviously he cannot sign a contract yet because he is not an actual free agent. He's not been released officially by the Broncos. So he can't officially sign with anybody, but he can absolutely go out and entertain his offers. And whenever he's cut, whether that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then he could make a decision as soon as boom, like that. Very possible.
Yeah.
But even the Steelers bringing in Russell Wilson is still a little bit of a shock to me because I didn't think they would go after a guy like that. I thought they'd do the bare minimum, which was Kenny, Mason, and Tannehill, or whoever else.
It's because what Tomlin and the Steelers recently have been prone to do.
Yes.
Just settle with what they got, and plus they don't want to give up on their draft picks, especially a first rounder. They don't want to admit that they failed. They don't want to admit that they reached on the guy, so they're just going to ride along with what they went with. But with this news, it does come to a shock to me and Dan here.
Yeah.
Still. Russell Wilson to the Steelers, it's kind of hard to see it. It's kind of hard to envision it. I cannot be the only one that thinks Russell Wilson in the Steelers jersey would be fucking weird.
It would be. It'd be like Mike Vick all over again.
Dude, I thought that was weird.
Like, it'll be one of those things where like, wow, that happened.
That only happened to Madden.
It'd be like Emmitt Smith with the Cardinals, or it'd be Franco Harris with the Seahawks, or Ed Reed with
the Texans.
It's like, wow, that happened.
Yeah.
You know?
It would be weird.
So it's just, or like Joey Porter with the Cardinals. Like, wait, that happened? Yeah, it happened. So it'd be weird, but honestly, man, I entertain the idea because he is an upgrade. And we've said it, we've on record of saying it. If the Steelers don't bring Mason back, we're screwed with Kenny. I'm sorry.
So again, this is another moment where they're weighing their options, possibly a backup plan, because I would have to think that Mason is at the top of their priority list based off his chemistry with the team, the players, the coaches, and just what he did last year in saving the Steelers season, getting them to the playoff picture.
Yeah. So
I would have to imagine he's still number one at the top of their list.
He should be.
This is a way where they're weighing their options, possibly a backup plan.
Yes. And in fact, we put a poll in the chat for you guys, 60 votes. Mason or Wilson? 62% say Wilson. Interesting.
62% want to ride with Wilson.
Yeah. I mean, Wilson, that's funny. Wilson would be, if the vet minimum is the actual case, then yeah, that would be, I suppose, an upgrade for sure. And that would be the cheapest option for the Steelers. Because Mason's gonna command a market.
He will. He's going to have some buyers.
Yeah.
And he's going to want the bag at the same time as much as a starting opportunity.
Yeah. And it all depends on where Russell Wilson, because this is the first time Wilson's ever been on the free agency market. It all depends where Wilson wants to go. Money is a non-issue for Russell Wilson. It's not about who's the highest bidder.
Yeah, he's getting paid. He's getting paid.
It's all about what's the best fit, or where does he want to go? Vegas, New York Giants, the Steelers, Minnesota, Atlanta.
Not just a team, but the type of coach he wants to play for. Because under his career, he's played for some Hall of Fame material coaches.
Sure has.
Pete Carroll, Sean Payton. Now we could add Mike Tomlin to that list.
Absolutely.
I mean, and people have stated several times, there's one coach to play for, it's Mike Tomlin. You don't think Russell Wilson may want to put his hand in that hat?
Yeah.
Something to consider?
Right.
That's something that I'm sure he is considering.
Sebastian in the chat. Mr. Unlimited Diarrhea is our next franchise quarterback. Oh, God. SteelTwins Nation, let's ride.
This pickup would be spicy.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
Just stop.
I'm sorry.
Stop. That's cringe.
Dangerous. Can Dangerous be our quarterback?
Maybe. Only time will tell.
I
don't hate the idea.
I wouldn't entirely hate it.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Only because it doesn't take the Steelers to new heights.
And then that's not what I'm expecting. I'm expecting literally the same episode, the same season.
Yeah, just with a better quarterback. Which is
future Hall of Fame quarterback.
Which is what we could use. So,
sure.
In that regard, yeah, it's an upgrade. So, I mean, yeah. If they can't get Mason back and we're stuck with Kenny, we're screwed. So, yeah, whatever upgrade we can get, I'll fucking take. And yes, that's the Steelers. That's us selling for mediocrity. But, frankly, that's just where we're sitting.
And then that's, unfortunately, what we've come to.
Yeah.
We should want more. We should expect more. But here we are.
It's the year of the bridge quarterback. So, whoever is the best bridge possible, get them.
So... we'll see how this plays out over the weekend, over all of next week when it comes to free agency period.
Yes. Now, in regards to the bridge talk, and I'm not talking about the Roberto Clemente bridge, the center position, I don't want a bridge. I don't. We've had enough bridges, okay? And frankly, I don't want to even walk down those bridges, but unfortunately, we had to go through 3 years of that with Kendrick Green and Mason Cole. Because we can't replace Marquise Pouncey. We had the chance to do it twice, and we didn't. Okay?
Not just with one guy, but another center.
I know. In our own division, by the way. In our own conference, by the way. Fuck. Anyway, so yeah, we need a center. And the Steelers have brought in, they have met with free agent center. He is officially a free agent, so he could sign right now if he wanted to. They have met with free agent center Mitch Morse, who was the Buffalo Bills starter for the past, 5 years? 5, 6 years?
That was something like that.
Something like that, because he was originally a Chief and then went to Buffalo and has been a long-time starter for them and snapping to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Which, in that regards, yes, that's a high accolade on his resume as a free agent. You know, he played for a playoff team. He played for an arguable Super Bowl contender, not anymore, especially with what they've been doing. But he snapped to Josh Allen. He played for a playoff team. He has started every single game he has ever played. All 152 of them, I think. But in that case, he's going to be 32 come draft time.
Yeah.
He's a veteran presence. He has experience, a ton of it. Right? But at the same time, he would be a bridge. And it wouldn't take off the idea of drafting a center completely in the draft. It would just push it back, unfortunately. And I don't want to do that unless someone...
You think so? You think so?
I'm sorry. If we sign Mitch Morse, we better still draft a center.
Because I believe if Mitch Morse were to sign with us, which I don't entirely hate because
let's talk about it.
He'd be the veteran presence. He'd be the veteran starter. He would be their insurance policy at center just to make sure that they have a solidified starter in there. And he's been somewhat consistent and capable as a starting center, especially for Buffalo.
Well, I'll tell you this. Mitch
Mitch
Morse would be the best center we've had since penalty.
Can't disagree there.
I mean, that's also not hard to do, but yeah.
No, but with his age being 32, obviously he wouldn't be here for the long haul.
Clearly, and I don't want that.
If you were to sign, I would have to think and imagine it would at least be a 2-year deal with an opt-out option after this upcoming season.
It'd be very similar to Mason Cole or even like a Patrick Peterson or an Allen Robinson. We brought these guys in for veteranship to fill these holes, but we know they're not going to be here forever.
Yeah. Yeah, we signed Pat Pete, but that didn't really push back cornerback. Not exactly.
No.
Not exactly. We still drafted cornerback high.
But what I'm saying is obviously the top 3 centers is JPJ, Jackson Powers Johnson, Zach Frazier, and Cedric Van Pan Granger.
Yeah.
So those 3 are day 1 starters. If they still draft one of them early, which I would do regardless, they're starting. I'm not benching them. Even if they sign Morse, I'm not benching him. But you're not going to bring in Morse and have him be a backup because he started every single game.
No, you're not. And that's where it comes up with the rookie starting day 1. Although I agree with you that those 3 guys are capable of being day 1 starters, you got to keep in mind the Steelers don't exactly rush their rookies.
That's their problem.
That is their problem. And although it made us scratch our head and made us frustrated that they wouldn't put Broderick out there, they wouldn't put JPJ out there. I mean, Jesus Christ. The many times we pound the table, get your rookies in here. You draft them for a reason. These guys are the future of this team. Get them in there. I don't think that really changes exactly when it comes to this upcoming draft. Keep in mind, we traded up for Broderick.
I know.
And we still didn't start him until mid-season.
And that's the reason why we put Amarius Mims in our last pre-free agency mock, because very much like Broderick, he wouldn't start day 1. They would still, unfortunately, start Dan Moore before they finally make the right decision to move Broderick to left and then eventually the tackle to right. That's still a possibility unless they fix that in free agency.
Maybe.
So, in regards to center, though, I disagree that can't happen.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm right there with you. Like, if Mitch Morse were to sign here, I understand why they would sign him because it's their insurance policy to make sure that they have a solidified center.
Right.
But at the same time, the chance of Jackson Powers Johnson being there at 20 is still extremely high, and if he's right there, they're going to select him, I would have to imagine.
And he's starting. He better.
But then it goes what I just stated. They don't want to rush a rookie.
Then that's kind of stupid.
And I agree.
So
what I'm saying is I get if they were to sign Morris because he'd be the insurance policy to make sure, hey, again, they have a starting center on the team. But I don't think that exactly pushes back center later into the draft. I think it could still go early, but they're not going to throw the rookie in the deep end of the water.
That's fair based on what they've done in the past, and I don't entirely disagree. On your opinion there, I don't disagree that the Steelers could do that because it's very likely.
It did last year. That's why I think that this is a possibility.
That's the Steelers' mentality.
Listen, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get the mentality. It's just like you drafted this guy, get him in there.
But with Morse, because he started every single game, I think he would still have a year or two of production out of him at his age, and thus that would push the position backward. And then they would lose out on one of the top 3 centers unless one falls. Maybe Van Pran falls to the 3rd. That's a steal.
Yeah, unless Jackson Powers Johnson is off the board at 20 and somebody that they just cannot pass up on at 20 is there and they select him. Could be a cornerback.
Yeah.
We don't know.
But
and maybe they go back in the 2nd round and get a Zach Frazier. You know, it's very, very possible.
Yeah. I think if they sign Morse, which I don't know if that's even going to happen anymore because according to Jeremy Fowler last night, he put on X, he said, veteran center Mitch Morse completed his visit to the Steelers and is on the way to Jacksonville to meet with the Jaguars, per source.
Yeah, so he visited with the Steelers, but no deal happened, obviously, so he's going to visit the Jaguars.
Which means, it doesn't exactly mean, but history shows that if the free agent leaves the Steelers facility, odds are they're not signing with the Steelers.
Yeah, without a deal, I don't think they're coming back. Although there's a possibility that he could come back for a second interview if he wants to weigh his options.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of center-needed teams out there.
Yeah.
And he's going to be at the top of everyone's list now that he's a free agent, just based on who he snapped to, who he played for, and just his massive experience.
And his consistency, his reliability, you know.
And I get why the Steelers looked at him. I thought they'd go younger. I'd rather them go.
They still could. They still could. This is the first center that they've looked at in free agency, and there's a plethora of other centers that they could look at.
Yeah.
That are younger, that are more so backups compared to a Jackson Powers Johnson that could start day one.
Right. I mean, that's why I would think would be the right case, because I think the sign still says it, draft a center.
Yeah.
Because
this ain't going nowhere.
Because here's the thing. In free agency, and we'll discuss it when we get into the free agency targets, at center, there's not a lot of long-term solutions at that position.
No.
Mitch Morse would not be that. We would have to fucking refix the position again unless we draft someone later on. I'd rather just fulfill the position in general, but through the draft.
Yeah.
I think that's a smart thing to do. We got to get back to having a pure fucking center. We've passed on two of the best in the league. You know, we need a center. The best chance we have of getting a center now is via the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got three of the top ones going to be there at some point. Go get one.
Yeah.
Mitch Morse, in my opinion, would not allow that. So, but because he left the Steelers and is now visiting the Jags, odds are he might not sign with the Steelers. He could very well sign the Jags. Jags need O-line help badly, probably worse than us. So I don't know if the Jags are going to let him leave the facility without a contract signed.
Yeah.
So they interviewed him. They met with him. They completed his visit. So that's interesting. But like you said, it's the first and only center they met with.
Yeah, they're going to look at more. They're going to weigh their options. They're going to look at various other players out there for sure. But, I mean, our stance doesn't change. Draft a center and draft it early. And freaking get your franchise center.
And let me just put it out there. Mitch Morse wouldn't be a bad addition. He's a quality starter.
He is.
Very good starter. Best center we've had since Pouncey. I just don't think it fulfills the position in the long haul.
No, it definitely, especially with his age, it would not.
That's the problem I have.
It would not.
That's the one problem I have. Ryan Conley with a $5 says, let's hope the Steelers don't make the wrong decision as the Penguins. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Pens, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I don't consistently watch the Penguins, but I've seen that they've been getting blown out left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and plus they got rid of Jake Gensel.
That hurt.
And I mean,
that hurt.
And their team is aging, from what I know.
That hurt.
Like,
oh my God! Yes, it dude. They kept everyone.
Yeah, they went with
they kept slow ass Malkin. Letang is up there in age.
They went with the last
Crosby,
ride.
God bless him.
They went with one last ride, like the Steelers did. How many times with Ben? And it's just biting him in the ass.
Big time.
I mean, best of luck to the Pens. You know, hopefully they can figure it out, turn their team around.
I don't know how Sullivan's not cut yet.
I don't know. He just might be done.
Only matter of
time.
You know,
he had his time. Back-to-back champs.
Are we gonna really have to rely on the Pirates to keep that moniker of City of Champions?
Yeah, Bob Nutting, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Nutting.
Oh God. Pittsburgh sports isn't looking too grand right now.
Yeah, Brian Reynolds and O'Neill Cruz. You know, great players. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but knowing their history, they'll just trade them away in 3 years.
Oh, Jesus.
Regardless, yeah, let's get back on topic. Steelers met with Russell Wilson. They met with Mitch Morse. It's just the two first free agents they brought in for visits. It's only the beginning. They're going to bring in a ton more. No contracts have been made yet. Wilson can't sign a contract because he hasn't been officially cut.
Yeah.
And Morse is entertaining other options. So we'll see what happens as the days go on. Time will tell. But very interesting interviews, man. They're definitely entertaining the veteran aspect of some of the more important positions at the Steelers' offensive side of the ball.
Here they are.
So very interesting there. Before we get into free agency and the free agency targets, let's talk about some free agents that we might have to bring back.
And looking at the list, in my opinion, there's only a handful.
There's not many.
There's only a handful.
There's not many. First of all, they brought back Brandon Fioku.
Yeah.
They announced that when they announced that they cut, what's his name?
Robinson
and Peterson.
Yes.
So Fioku's back. Very good defensive line depth. Thought he had a decent camp, decent preseason. He was mostly on the practice squad last year, so good to see him back. In regards to defensive line and free agency, there's still a couple we could bring back in that area as well. One of them is Montravius Adams, who was originally the day one starter to open up last season before Benton clearly took that from him. But he's young. He's got a lot of starting experience. He's been under the system for the past 2-3 years. Steelers will definitely like that as a rotational piece.
And I would say last year, Adams had his most productive year as a Steeler.
I agree. Same thing with Armon Watts.
Yeah, he came in as a free agent last year and as that rotational defensive lineman. You know, I felt like he showed more than DeMarvin Leal did.
But how many defensive linemen are they going to bring back? They'd be cheap. They'd be cheap.
They would be cheap, and I don't think you could really have too many. I wouldn't necessarily bring back the exact same defensive line group because I think we've done that for quite some time. I think it's a little stale. I think they could change it up. But Watts and Adams, they were productive in rotations and some starts when they had to go in there.
Yeah.
I would be all for bringing them back.
Yeah, one of the two. They could both be brought back. One could be brought back. I'm sure at least one of them will be brought back. If I put money on it, probably Adams, just based on the experience factor. But I do like Watts as well. Other free agents Steelers could bring back is Miles Killebrew, special teams demon, made a Pro Bowl last year. Bring him back.
I think that's a no-brainer.
Cheap.
Honestly, I would consider that a must.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, special teams matters. He had the most punts last year, I think. Or most punts blocked. Thank you.
Yeah, he got Pro Bowl recognition. I mean, he was just a hell of a player and has been.
Marcus Golden. He could be a cheap bring back. I don't know why he wouldn't want to come back.
Yeah.
He was very good as a rotational piece. Him and Herbig both. I'd keep the same core.
I would too.
I'd try to play him more, honestly.
No
question.
seriously, no question. Get these guys more involved, especially Nick Herbig in his second year with how flashy and quick he was and what more he's going to continue to learn as he advances in his NFL career. With the knowledge of Watt and Highsmith and Golden to help that young guy, I'd keep the whole edge group together, absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Quan Alexander. He's coming off an injury.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how his recovery is going. And I know it's always been a thing about Quan Alexander with his injury history and his injury concerns, but when he was on the field, I mean, he was productive. You saw his impact with them inside linebacker rotations with Holcomb and Roberts. If his medicals were to...
well, he got hurt around the same time as Holcomb, and Holcomb's timetable is unknown, according to Con.
Yeah, it was back-to-back weeks, actually.
Not a good thing on Holcomb's update. We don't know the update on Alexander. He could be very well along. He could be further along than Holcomb.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we don't know the medical update on how his recovery is, but if it's on the right track and if he's interested, I mean, I'd be interested in bringing him back.
Yeah, it's an unknown right now. It feels like inside linebacker will be one of those positions they have to grab in free agency. James Pierre. They could bring him back.
I was going to say no, but then again, we don't have depth.
No, you're right.
We don't have depth, and I
know.
I don't know. I don't know anybody else out there at the moment in free agency that would be better depth than James Pierre.
I can think of a few guys, but I mean, they're not confirmed to be with the team. I know we have Corey Trice, undetermined. We have Darius Rush, undetermined. So, Steelers.
Yeah, you're kind of banking on the rookies right there.
Well, yeah, and the Steelers like Pierre a lot.
They always have.
They might be the only team out there that even knows who James Pierre is. Let's be honest.
You may have a point there.
You may
have a point there.
Chandon Sullivan, there's talks that he might be brought back. Steelers want him back. I thought he was a liability in coverage. He made a play here and there. We need a slot corner. Sullivan could come back to compete, but not as a starter.
No, I mean, maybe to compete. Yeah, I could see a 1-year extension, but I would, if I were the Steelers, I would look in free agency for a possible slot competition, a starting slot guy, or just looking to the draft since slot corner is huge. Yeah. It's filled with slot corner potential.
I'll throw two more out there before we get into the obvious. Miles Boykin, special teams guy.
Yes. Wide receiver depth, he's not really a target, but as far as special teams goes, yes, bring him back.
He's cheap. Bring him back. Elijah Riley. I thought before he got on IR, I thought we could have used him more. I like his versatility. I like him in the slot. I like him as a rotational guy. I like him as a depth piece. He had a great camp last year. I bring him back on a cheap deal.
He did. I would have to agree.
Make him a camp body, and hopefully he can pick up where he left off. And, of course, let's get into the obvious. Everyone we listed, mostly depth pieces, right? There's not a lot of people in our free agency chart that we could or should bring back. Not really any important factors, right? There's only one. That one is, of course, Mason Rudolph. We got to bring him back.
No question. Top of the list.
We got to bring him back. Even if they sign Wilson or any other quarterback, you still got to bring Mason back. You have to. It's a must. After what he did last year, the strong finish he had, we said it many times, we'll say it again. He deserves a chance to start. He deserves to compete. He deserves it. He should get that opportunity.
Yeah.
Steelers need to bring him back. And if they can't clinch a better bridge, then Mason's your best option. Point frankly.
Yeah, you showed that last year.
I bring Mason back. I want him back.
And again, it really all depends on if Mason truly wants to stick around and stay.
I don't know.
After everything he's endured, respect and props to Mason. He just pretty much kept his mouth shut, kept his head down, and just grinded and started working. I can respect that.
It might be the last time I ever wear this jersey.
Yeah, Mason, I kind of need we need you to kind of resign so our investment is worth just that. Please?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, we got to bring Mason
No,
back.
in all seriousness, yes, bring back Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
Give him the opportunity, be fair to him, give him Mitch's money. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Whatever you paid Mitch, just
give him Peterson's
Mason
money.
Yeah.
You saved $7 million by cutting Peterson. Give him $7 million this year.
Come on. Money may not even be an issue when it comes to Mason Rudolph. It's just, when it comes down to the best opportunity to start, to compete.
He's a professional competitor. Like, he should have been competing for the starting role for the past couple years now since Ben left. But he remained the utmost professional you could ever ask for. And now that he's finally proven himself to some degree, and he's a free agent, and the Steelers got a chance to make the right decision once again, or finally make the right decision, they should do it. Bring him back. They got to bring Mason back. Regardless of what they do at the quarterback position in free agency, Mason should be at the top of their list when it comes to the quarterback situation. You already know they're not going to make anything crazy. They're not going to make a drastic move. They're not going to bring in anyone that could be the future. So thus, get your best chance for this year. Mason might very well be at the top of that list. I would argue he's at the top of that list just based on what he did for us last year.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was 3 games. That 3 games was enough for me. 4 games was enough for me.
Yeah, and just like if Russell were to sign, if Mason were to re-sign, Pickett is not starting.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Kenny has a better chance at competing against Mason, but he's not winning.
He's not going to beat him out.
He's not. Sorry. Not happening.
No.
And I don't mean to sound like a Kenny Pickett hater. I'm not a Kenny Pickett
No,
hater.
listen. We are not Kenny Pickett haters. Listen. When he was drafted, we were supporters of him. I got a Hail to Pickett shirt. I can get it right now.
365 days ago, we were just saying we trust Kenny more than Canada. So no, we're not Kenny Pickett haters. We just don't believe Kenny's the future anymore. Unfortunately, he just didn't do anything crazy.
When it comes to his play,
enough.
When it comes to his play on the field, he hasn't instilled trust into us at all. That trust is gone. I'm sorry.
Because he can't hit the basics. He can't.
Not until the fourth quarter.
There was nothing last year that he did that was a jump. Nothing.
I want nothing more than Kenny Pickett to live up to that first round pedigree, to be the franchise. But I'm going to be honest, he's not it. I don't think he ever will be.
No. If anything, if we can salvage anything out of that first round, he'll be a quality backup. But hey, I'm hoping he proves us wrong. He comes out and has a great third year.
And if he does, good on Pickett, and thank goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't believe it.
I'm not holding my breath.
So, for those that are probably commenting or wondering, why are they guys so negative on Kenny Pickett? That's why. So, all right. We talked about Wilson. We talked about Morse. We talked about Deontay. We talked about Robinson and Peterson and the free agents. I guess the only thing we can get into now is the free agency targets in regards to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep.
I guess the free agency wish list, which I feel like this wish list might be a little too stocky. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'll put it this way.
Well, we're not going to get every single one. That's just not happening.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing a lot of names out there because these are options. So I'll just say these are Steelers free agency targets that they could very well sign this free agency, man. And I think they're going to make a aggressive push early on in free agency. They got $26 million roughly in cap space with maybe more to create shortly.
I would imagine so.
And they're going to have to sign some of these guys immediately because some of these guys are going to fly off the free agency market immediately.
Oh, come Monday, forget about it.
So some of these guys that we listed here are probably some of the more realistic and cheaper options for the Steelers, with some out there that we are just crossing our fingers. Maybe they make a splash or two because it's very necessary.
Yeah.
And hey, what Khan has been doing the past year or so has been very different compared to what Colbert did. Very different. It's been for the better, as a matter of fact.
It's a more direct approach. It's more aggressive.
Yeah, instead of just waiting till everyone's off the market and we pick up the bones, Khan's like, no, we're signing this guy. We're going to grab this guy. We're going to revamp this and that. And I expect the exact same approach regarding Omar Khan.
Khan has already showed he don't hold back. He's already showed he is King Khan.
Yes, exactly. So first we got to start. Where do you want to start? You want to start from offense to defense? You want to start defense to offense?
Yeah, let's go with offense.
Okay, we'll start
with offense.
All right. Well, first, obviously, it's a quarterback situation. Wilson's at the top of the list right now just based on the report that we got that he met with the Steelers. He cannot sign an agreement yet because, again, he has not been officially cut.
Yeah.
But Russell Wilson's going to be there because the interest is high from both parties. We already know that. If they can't sign Wilson wants to go elsewhere, then the biggest name in that free agency market in regards to interest from the Steelers is, unfortunately, Ryan Tannehill. He is not on my wish list, but I have to throw him out there because he is absolutely an option because we all know the history he has Arthur Smith.
Yeah, put 2 and 2 together. I mean, it's
a veteran.
Not hard.
Listen, Ryan Tannehill has football smarts. He cannot play anymore. He's not a starter anymore. He's not. He's coming to the tail end of his career. But in terms of football smarts and knowledge, he could help Kenny in that factor. Thus, the Steelers are going to look at that as an enticing priority to bring him in.
Yeah.
But Tannehill, otherwise, Gardner Minshew, very good backup, I guess, would compete, right? Same thing with Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Again, these guys aren't starters. These guys are competition, quote unquote. The Steelers' definition of competition.
Yeah, they're not bona fide starters, but they're guys that can come in, fill in if need be, and they're no strangers to starting a full season.
Exactly.
Brissett's done it when Andrew Luck retired. Gardner Minshew did it early into his Jack's career last year when Richardson got hurt. You know, they're no stranger to starting.
No, not at all. And they would be, again, in the Steelers' definition, competition for Kenny Pickett. But obviously at the top of our list, we've already mentioned it, Mason Rudolph. Bring him back. That's our biggest wish right there, is we bring in Mason Rudolph, bring back Mason Rudolph into the quarterback competition for the Steelers.
Yeah.
In that case, Mason would be the starter. Wide receiver. They cut Allen Robinson. They only have 3 confirmed receivers on the roster right now, which is the obvious. We need another receiver. We need depth. We need someone that's going to fit Arthur Smith's scheme. We need someone that can come in for rotation, for special teams use, and as a ferocious blocker in the run game, because Smith relies heavily on the run game, right? We have 4 wide receivers listed in regards to who they could target, and some of these are fits. Some of these players actually have some past experience with Arthur Smith. The first one is Mac Hollins, right? Played with Atlanta last year. He has that big playability. He has great size. He's a great special teams artist. Can work as a run blocker for sure. Like I said, has that chemistry with Arthur Smith. It seems like a good fit. I feel like if the Steelers are going to sign a wide receiver, he's probably the best option. He's probably the most likely option, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Just based on everything I just noted there. Another one could be Noah Brown, right? Played for the Texans last year, was a solid 3rd or 4th option for Stroud. Good run blocker, very good, especially with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You know, he showed that a lot with the Cowboys before he became a Texan. So Noah Brown's going to be up in there as well. Josh Reynolds, just based on his size, his big playability, what he did for Jared Goff during his entire career, especially with the Lions last year. I know he has some drop issues. He showcased that in the NFC Championship game, but he himself is a great run blocker and can play special teams. And he's always been great depth.
Yeah.
Always been. He showcased that ever since coming into the league. Another one I'll throw out there, this one doesn't excite me as much, but he does have the Arthur Smith connection from Atlanta last year. He didn't get a lot of targets, didn't get a lot of catches, but still has that system familiarity. Van Jefferson. I'll throw it out there.
Van Jefferson, he wouldn't be my first option. Probably not even my second option. I mean, I know why you put him in there. He's got the size for what the Steelers are looking for, but the inconsistent hands, I'm not really all for that.
Hey, listen,
his route running ain't the most pristine.
Again, I'm just throwing options out there.
Van Jefferson would be depth, and that's exactly what he would be.
Yeah.
You know?
Whoever they bring in is not going to be a starter. They're going to be depth.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. They still might draft a receiver, I'd imagine it. But again, they got to add extra depth. They need the depth back.
Now, a couple of wide receivers I listed down myself here, just to throw them out there as possibilities, again, as far as depth goes.
Yeah.
KJ Osborne, Vikings wide receiver, he's got the size. Again, the drop issue, just like Josh Reynolds, those could be limited when it comes to Osborne. But when Justin Jefferson was hurt, he came in opposite of Jordan Addison for Kirk Cousins and the other quarterbacks that they had, Joshua Dobbs, Nick Mullins. You know, he was a pretty solid hand. You know, he was getting involved in the offense a little bit.
Right.
Capable blocker. You know, not too bad of a player. Would be decent depth at that.
I can see it.
Cedric Wilson Jr., former Cowboy, Miami Dolphin. Again, when it comes to the size, capable blocker. Solid hands. He's more prone to a depth piece, but that's exactly what it would be.
Son of former Steelers Cedric Wilson.
Yes, Cedric Wilson Sr., Steelers Super Bowl winner.
Wow.
From Super Bowl 40.
Wow.
Again, not hard to put two and two together. His son could come play for the Steelers.
NFL bloodlines.
Yeah, why the hell not, you know? But, you know, Wilson would be solid depth. I wouldn't necessarily hate it. Another guy I'm going to throw out is a former Brown before he got traded to the Detroit Lions is Donovan Peoples-Jones.
This guy would be mostly special teams. He can even return kicks if needed.
Yeah, special teams value. That's another reason why I put him in here is his special teams value. But he's no stranger to catching the ball, to blocking, to being just a physical, all-out depth wide receiver.
Yeah.
One more I threw out there, and it's something that I could absolutely see happening and has a lot of connection when it comes to Arthur Smith is Cordell Patterson.
Okay.
Cordell Patterson.
I can see it. Yeah.
Running back, wide receiver, hybrid type of player, nicknamed the Joker. He's also a great special teams ace, one of the greatest special teamers of all time. I know he's like 33, I think, so he's getting up here with age. Wouldn't be here for the long haul, probably a year or two at best. But just to get that pairing together, to have somebody that Arthur Smith is comfortable with, a part of the offense for Smith to figure out how to use, and maybe even fill the running back 3 position since we don't exactly have that. And he's no stranger to playing running back 3. He did it last year.
Yeah, it's not. I could see it.
That's why I throw him out there.
He's definitely at the better or the lower half of his career. One guy I'm surprised you didn't name, and I didn't name myself, is Tyler Boyd. Only because
if they want to make a splash at wide receiver, Boyd is probably the guy to go with.
Yeah.
With what they're looking for.
Yeah.
His time in Cincinnati has been a great career, I would consider. He's been very reliable, good blocker, great hands. You know, he has outside flexibility, but he's more so prone and best fit in the slot. But he's a guy that can do it all. Whatever you ask him to do, Boyd's going to do it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I think I would love the addition of Boyd. I would. I've always been a Boyd fan.
Oh, same. Moving on. Right tackle. Now, if there is one position I am incredibly hopeful that the Steelers fulfill in free agency, that they close in free agency and would add so much flexibility in the draft, is right tackle, because we need one. Chucks is gone. He was cut. Broderick needs to move back to left. We all agree. Khan agrees. He's said it. We need a right tackle.
Yeah.
Now, if there is one guy that's at the top of my wish list, that's at the top of my target list in regards to the Steelers, it is Patriots right tackle Mike Onwenu.
He's one of the top free agents out there.
Now, he's a guard tackle hybrid. He originally started as a guard before moving to tackle, but I think his best fit is remaining at tackle because that's where he's been most recently. That's where he's been most productive, and we need it. And that would be a great splash. And it fits exactly what the Steelers have been wanting to fill in free agency for offensive line for years.
Yeah.
For years. At the center position, at the guard position, he is someone that has versatility and has a lot of starting experience and is still very young with his best days ahead of him.
Yeah, he's like, only 26?
Yeah, so young. Very young. And the Patriots, they tagged Kyle Duggar, which means this guy's in the market.
Yeah, and might I add, he's got the build that they're looking for at tackle.
Absolutely.
Like, he's a big dude. He's a big dude, and he shows on the football field. You see what Khan and Waddle, especially Waddle, and what he's been targeting with his tackles. Those are his guys. Those are his build.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my biggest please, if I say, when it comes to the Steelers and free agency, is Mike Onwenu. That's who I really want.
Yeah.
That's who I am praying the Steelers get. And if they get, man, I'm going to throw a parade. Because then right tackle's fulfilled. We got a young starter with a lot of experience. And that fulfill a dying need and would add so much flexibility in the draft.
Yeah, it would just open up another position for them to address in the draft. Absolutely.
Exactly, man. That's who I'm really hoping they pick up in free agency, man.
Now, there are other options out there if we were not to get how do you say his last name?
Onwenu.
Onwenu.
I'm probably botching that, but that's how.
How many times do we botch a core for? Chucks.
Do we still get comments on it?
I don't freaking know.
Michael Onwenu.
Yeah, but there's other options outside of him if the Steelers were not able to obtain him, or if the Steelers were just to do their due diligence.
Yeah.
Patriots tackle as well, Trent Brown. Now he's been more so the left tackle over there for New England, but he has lots and lots of experience at right tackle. He wouldn't exactly be my biggest option or my best option because he's getting up there with age. I think he's like 32, 33 years old, and he has a big history of injuries.
So not just that, but at this stage of his career where he's in his early 30s, he's been playing left tackle the last 2 years. Would you want to move someone at his age and his injury concerns to move from left to right at this stage of his career?
Again, and he's done it several times. He's moved from right tackle to left tackle and vice versa. He's done it several times.
I'm not even looking his way. But he is an option.
But keep in mind, although he may be added, he is an option because of his age. He's only going to be a rental. I'd rather just fix the position completely.
We need to.
I just fix the position completely. Just complete this whole line. Enough of the rentals.
That's why they cut Chucks. Now, they could not sign a right tackle, and they could fulfill the position in a deep offensive tackle class. But again, we need that flexibility in the draft. We really need it. I know Michael Winu would be a splash. He would cost a little bit, but I mean, Khan has enough to work with early on. If he really wants to solidify a big position, that's what I'm really hoping for. Otherwise, they could go with a Brown. The tackle free agency market isn't stacked.
It's not.
It's not deep at all. It's very dry. The other one that's been floating around is Jonah Williams. He's been former first rounder of the Bengals. He's been starting for them at left, then he moved to right because they signed Orlando Brown. I'm not a big fan of him.
No. I think he allows too many pressures, too many sacks for sure. I don't think right tackle is exactly his go-to. I think he's better built as a left tackle. But even then he wasn't really that great.
But I will say he does fit. When you look at what the Steelers have been targeting, if you look at their trend at what they've been signing and at the O-line position for agency, it's guys with a ton of starting experience and guys with youth. Jonah Williams does fit that.
And that's why I can see the Steelers at least looking his direction.
Right. But I'm not a fan of Jonah Williams.
No, neither am I. I feel like the tackles that we had before Broderick came in, they allowed too many pressures in their own right. Yeah. Chucks and Dan Moore. I think we've seen enough of that.
Yeah. But we got to throw his name out there because he is an option.
Yeah.
Center. There's a decent amount of names if they want to bring in someone at center. Now, real quick, again, center, if they sign somebody, depending on the name, is not a long-term solution. We would much rather draft a center. Please, for the love of God. So whoever they sign would not be the long-term starter. They would be that insurance policy so that if they can get one of the top centers, they still have someone capable enough to play the position. And most of the guys that we listed here on our spreadsheet here is guys that fit the Steelers' trend with signing guys in the offensive line group, right? Yeah. That would be a Lloyd Cushenberry, who has been, a 3-year starter with the Broncos.
3-year, 4-year.
4-year starter with the Broncos at center. And he's been, over time, getting better and better. I would say outside of Connor Williams, who would be very pricey and is coming off an ACL injury, outside of Connor Williams, he might be the only other center that I really wouldn't mind that could actually fulfill that position for a long term because he is still young. He has a ton of starting experience, and with that Russell Wilson news going around, maybe those two can tie in together.
Yeah, maybe Russ would want his experienced center, someone that he's experienced with, that he knows well, that he's played with. And it's possible.
And Sentinel mentioned that on our Thursday stream, so shout out to him for bringing that up.
Big time.
Tyler Biadasz. He's been a 3-year starter for the Cowboys. And in my opinion, he's been the weak link of that offensive line.
Oh, boy. I mean, it's not hard to see.
But the Steelers did show interest in him coming out of Wisconsin, and he does have a lot of that starting experience at the position.
He does.
As does Andre James. He's been a 3-year starter for the Raiders past couple of years.
Yeah.
He's young. He's only 26. But like Biadasz, I think he was the weak link of that offensive line. He's solid, but he's above average.
Right.
He's like a Mason Cole. It'd be Mason Cole all over again.
I think he's a little bit better than Mason Cole.
Sure, but
a little bit.
Sure, but I don't think they're long-term solutions.
No, no. That's not what I'm saying.
But they could be signed as, again, insurance policies for competition, quote unquote, and to ensure that if we don't if we can't get one of the top centers, we have someone capable enough.
Of course.
Another guy like that is an Aaron Brewer. 2-year start. Last 2 years, he's been starting at the center position. He's undersized. He's like 6'1", barely 280, something like that.
Yeah.
He has a tiny dose of familiarity with Arthur Smith in 2020 when he started one game for him that year, which was against the Ravens, where Henry went off in that game.
Yeah, and Brewer is a guy that has position versatility. He's a guard center type of hybrid. Very undersized, but he's solid. He's productive in the run game, but as a pass blocker, I mean, he just gets pushed around.
It's a different story.
Yeah.
Another name we'll throw out there is a Matt Hennessy. Not as much starting experience as any of these guys, but very reliable backup. I think for the first 2 years of Arthur Smith's time in Atlanta, he was the center.
I believe you're right.
So there's that chemistry, there's that familiarity there. Got to throw that into the table.
Yeah, now I believe Matt Hennessy is somebody that's coming off an injury.
He is.
I don't think he played at all last year. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're correct.
So that's something to keep an eye out for, but he does have the experience, the familiarity with Arthur Smith, somebody to bring in just to fill in at center as competition, as a backup, as insurance policy, quote unquote.
Yeah. But if they want to get a guy that could fulfill the position for long term and pretty much take center completely off the board in the draft, it would have to be at a decent cost. They would have to open the wall a little bit.
Yeah.
Which could be a Cushenberry, could be a Connor Williams. But if there's one of them that I'd be very happy and comfortable with, it's Cushenberry.
Yeah.
Be very comfortable with him.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that signing whatsoever.
No, but if they're going to sign a center, which we do think they will, it'll most likely be someone that has some starting experience and would be, like we said, a backup plan if we can't draft a top one. Unless, of course, they come to an agreement with Mitch Morse.
Yeah.
Still got to throw it out there because they did interview him. Mm-hmm. But they're already looking at the center position, so they're going to bring in one. It'll be interesting to see which one they bring in, and that could tell the tale for the draft need for center.
Yeah.
So got to look into that. Next is, I guess we got to focus on the defense because there's not much else for the offense to look for.
No, not really. So pretty much, yeah, defense. Here we go.
So we got to start with the top three needs at defense, which is linebacker, corner, and safety. Got to start there. We got to start with inside linebacker because Holcomb is coming off an injury. Khan said they don't know the timetable for his return, which is concerning. Very concerning. That could be one of those career-threatening injuries. He probably won't be the same player, unfortunately. And thus, here we are again, another inside linebacker injury, and we gotta fix that position again. So they could very well do that in free agency with the cap space they have. They can very well make a splash or two in that area, and I think it's necessary. The name at the top of that chart is probably Jerome Baker, who just got cut by the Dolphins. Steelers showed interest in him coming out of Ohio State. He obviously has that chemistry with Landon Roberts.
Yes, he does.
I mean, it's a perfect fit.
It is.
It's a sneaky good fit for Jerome Baker to be in the black and gold. So if there's one that's most likely to happen, I would say Jerome Baker. I would really like that because he has the sideline range. He's mean in the ground game. Got coverage upside, like we said, chemistry with Roberts.
Yep.
It's a good fit. It's a very, very good fit. But I'm sure he'll see some offers elsewhere. But we'll see if the Steelers can bring him in or not. Another one I'll throw in there is Willie Gay. And no, I'm not saying that just because we had a William Gay, which means we got to get Willie Gay. No, he's going to be a free agent. The Chiefs brought back Drew Tranquill, and they have Leo Chenal, who they drafted. So it seems like Willie Gay will be the odd man out in that group. Plus, they still have
Nick Bolton.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Willie Gay is going to be a free agent. He's going to be hitting the market. And I'd imagine he's going to get some offers, but he is far and away the most athletic Chiefs linebacker last year.
Yeah, he's freakishly athletic, good size. He's a very great blitzer for them, on that defense. Solid run defender, and his coverage ain't that shabby.
No, it's not
too bad.
No, it's not. I would really like Willie to come to the Steelers. I'd like Willie Gay to come to the Steelers and be a nice, solid addition. Plus, he started for the Chiefs the past couple of years. He's played for a playoff team. He's played in big games. The Steelers are going to want to add that to the defense.
Especially last year, he was. I would say he was a big vocal point in the middle of that front seven.
Absolutely.
For that Chiefs defense.
Same thing could be said for Jordan Brooks, who's going to be a free agent from the Seahawks. Seahawks are going to a complete revamp, obviously. Jordan Brooks was arguably one of their better defenders last year. Very good coverage upside, nasty in the ground game.
Yeah.
He's going to cost a little more.
He might.
He's going to get a market. But I think he could be a very nice pickup in free agency if they do want to open their wallet a little bit at that position.
Yeah, he might be pricey, but you would also have to consider his injury concerns.
Sure.
To probably play a factor into that when it comes to his contract and what he's probably looking for.
Yeah, that's fair.
And what other teams are probably going to be offering him. But if he's healthy when he's on the field, I mean, you see his impact. Mm-hmm. He's a productive tackler. He's a mean linebacker. Like I said, coverage upside. Wouldn't be a bad addition either.
No, not at all. And I believe didn't he have first round pedigree?
Yes, he was a first round pick,
and he's only 26 years old.
Yeah,
young as hell. So yeah, I want to throw Jordan Brooks' name out there. I know he's going to get a heavy market and he might go elsewhere, but he's just another one of those guys that's going to be on my wish list. Aziz Al-Shaair, he's going to be a free agent again.
And he was a guy that we were like really, really hoping would sign with the Steelers last year. Like he was a big free agent we were looking at last year.
Yeah.
He's on a 1-year deal with Tennessee, had a very productive year with Tennessee. Now he hits the free agent market again. And our thoughts have not changed about Aziz Al-Shaair.
No, he's still ferocious. Still nasty. I would like us to maybe show interest in him. I can't remember if they offered him a contract, if they interviewed him or even showed any interest in him last year.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
But he's someone that, like he mentioned, we looked at last year and would like to bring in again this year.
Yeah.
So we'll see what his market looks like. But I think he'd be a nice, solid fit here. One more name I'll throw out there who I really like, who I like since his Minnesota days. Minnesota College, right? Blake Cashman. I think he's very underrated. Starting experience, young. He's got speed, great coverage upside. He was a great defender for the Texans last year under DeMeco Ryans' defense.
Yeah.
Right? But because of that, he might get a market himself. But I really like Cashman. I think he's a great linebacker. He produces at any level you ask him to. He'd be a good fit. He'd be a very, very good linebacker for us and would be one of those underrated names. Like, probably not one of those names you recognize or one of those names that you don't exactly know, but he could come in and make a nice impact on the team.
Yeah.
I think that's what Cashman can do. I think that's what he'll do for any team, man. The Texans kind of did a gamble with Cashman last year because I know coming out of Minnesota, he had injury concerns, and wasn't he with the Jets initially?
Yeah, he was.
So,
and it was kind of a rocky start to his NFL career with the Jets. That's where DeMeco Ryans and the Texans took a chance on that potential, and he really showed out. He was just a ferocious linebacker, a guy that stood out on that Texans defense. Yeah, especially during the playoff run, you were really seeing Cashman make a lot of plays.
Everywhere. Him and the other linebacker.
Yeah, the Alabama rookie last year. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, they were studs, man. So, yeah, Cashman, I think, is an under-radar guy. He definitely had a breakout year. He's going to get a decent market. So,
yeah.
But I think he'd be one of those cheaper little underrated options.
Now, I'm going to throw one more name out there just for the heck of it because this guy has first-round pedigree.
Don't say his name.
Why not?
Is it who I think it is? Okay, it's not who I think it is.
No, it's not.
Go ahead.
Who'd you think I was going to say?
Devin White. I don't want Devin White.
No!
I don't want
Devin White. I got enough seeing Devin Bush. Why would I want the other Devin?
I know.
Come on, man. I wasn't going to throw his name out there, but no,
Patrick Queen's not going to be a Steeler. He's too expensive.
No, he's going to get a bag. He's going to get the bag. But this other linebacker I'm going to throw out there has first-round pedigree, was explosive coming out of college, oozes versatility, something that I'm sure the Steelers may be wanting to look at. And I think last year they showed interest in him to a degree when it came to a trade.
Yep.
I'm talking about Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Former Cardinal, didn't really pan out because they couldn't really figure out where to put him, whether if he was a linebacker or a safety or...
He's a linebacker.
Or whatnot. He's got the build for a linebacker. He's got the speed. He's got the play of a linebacker. And the Cardinals traded him away to the Giants, and that's where he filled in. Played a couple games. I think he started a couple as well. This could be an opportunity for Simmons.
Listen, he has 41 career starts.
Yeah.
So even if he would come in, I don't think he'd be the day one starter. He'd be a great rotational guy. He very much filled that Quan Alexander role.
Right.
because we still have Landon Roberts. We still might go linebacker early. What's his name? Isaiah Simmons would come in. He could definitely get an opportunity to start.
Yeah, to start. But as far as the rotations go, because that's what I would imagine that Omar Khan and the Steelers are still going to want to continue to do is them linebacker rotations.
Yeah.
I think that's where Simmons would fit best.
Yeah.
He's got the starting capability. He's got the speed, the explosiveness. Not exactly the playmaking ability I think we all envision him to have, but, he's got some playing ability in him. And I feel like it would really stick out and showcase in rotations for sure.
Agreed.
Just a guy that they sort of showed interest in, first-round pedigree. He's got the size, speed for it. Freakish athlete.
Yeah.
It's just, how an NFL team can try to utilize his traits, and the Steelers could be just that.
Hopefully.
Maybe a new lease on life in Pittsburgh.
He can definitely play in the box. I like that idea. Any of these linebacker options would be very, very good. They're very young, a lot of starting experience. They played for some playoff teams. I mean, all these would be great fits. Baker, Willie Gay, Jordan Brooks, Azeez Al-Shaair, Blake Cashman, Simmons. They've all played for great teams. They've all played with playoff teams.
Yeah.
Right? So any of them would be a very good addition to the linebacker room. Any of them. And I think linebacker is definitely going to be one that they fulfill in free agency because they have to. They could absolutely go for a linebacker in the draft. There's a good amount of names early on from day 1 to day 2. Early on into day 3, there are some decent names. There are. But if they want to add flexibility, if they want to fulfill that position for agency, they have the cap space to do it. They have the names to do it.
Yeah.
Go do it. And another position they absolutely have to grab in free agency is a corner. Preferably a cornerback 2.
Now with the release of Patrick Peterson and just the lack of depth at cornerback at the moment, I would feel it's appropriate and a must to sign somebody in free agency.
They have to. Now, obviously, corner is going to be a top option in the draft because they've interviewed a lot of the top guys. Corner, honestly, man, depending on what they all fill in free agency, corner could be the pick at 20.
They could be, yeah.
Could be, and there's going to be so many names there, man.
Dude.
There could not be, but there could be.
But it's stacked, man, especially early on. Like the cornerback group is loaded.
Yeah.
It's full of talent. It's full of a lot of lockdown potential.
And that's just outside and slot weapons. But if there's one that they could fill, it could be either in free agency. It could be a slot option. It could be a cornerback 2. I would like them to get a cornerback 2 in free agency. They're definitely going to bring in a cornerback at some point. I'm hoping it's a starter. That wouldn't exactly take away the idea of drafting a corner or an outside corner.
Yeah.
Early on into the draft, it would just make sure that guy could sit for a little bit before being a starter. Very much like they did JPJ last year when they shouldn't have, but regardless, that could be what they do again.
Yeah.
And some of these names we have listed here could very well fit that bill. At the top list is going to be Kenny Moore. I know he's a little older, but he's still very productive, versatile. He would be that slot guy mostly, though.
Of course.
Very good. Very, very underrated around the league. One of the best slot corners, would fulfill that role. He's a do-it-all guy. I mean, if they want to make a splash there, Kenny Moore's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine he's also going to get a market, so Steelers are going to be in a bidding war. Clearly, L'Jarius Sneed got the tag. I mean, I don't know if the Steelers are going to want to trade for him. They're going to have to trade a lot for him and then pay him.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson just got the bag, which upsets us. So there's not really a lot of crazy top corners in the free agency market. I know Tre'Davious White's a free agent. Not after those injuries. He had 2 straight season-ending injuries, too high of a risk.
It's a big concern.
He was great, and now those injuries are hard to come back from. So, not going to happen.
And I'm not looking at Stephon Gilmore. I'm not looking at that. We just got rid of an aging corner. Why would we replace an aging corner with another aging corner?
We have to get young.
We have to look for a young cornerback.
We have to get young, and we got to get a little explosive at that position. We have a couple names listed here. One of them is going to be Sean Murphy-Bunting, who has a ton of starting experience. He's been around the league a little bit, mostly with the Bucs, had great success there. So, I mean, because of that, Steelers going to look at that as, hey, look what this guy accomplished around the league. And last year, what was he, with the Titans, I believe?
Yeah.
He was with last year. I mean, very productive corner. He's very capable of playing that cornerback, too. I think he's a solid cornerback, too. And at worst case, he's very good depth. He's great depth. He's an upgraded depth.
Yeah.
And again, if they were to bring in a guy like him, he could be the cornerback 2 initially. And if they still want to draft a guy day 2, day 3, then he could sit and then eventually come in as a starter. But I think Sean Murphy-Bunting, with his playoff experience, with his starting experience, and just how he's still only 26 years old.
He is.
I think he still has a lot to offer as a cornerback too. So I don't want to underestimate him by saying, if anything, he could be just great depth. I think he can still be a capable starter in the league. Opposite JPJ, I think that's a decent duo.
Yeah.
He could be another Steven Nelson. And Steven Nelson wasn't bad until his last year, but even then.
No, but Steven Nelson, when he was here, he played a number 2 cornerback role perfectly.
Yeah.
Because Hayden was a number 1, and Hayden did cornerback 1 things, just like JPJ is going to be doing cornerback 1 things. Sean Murphy-Bunting, all he's got to worry about is being the cornerback 2.
Absolutely. If they want to go with extra veteranship, if they want to go with a guy up there in age a little bit, Kendall Fuller is another top corner out there, which it'll cost a little extra. But, I mean, he's productive. He did good for Washington the past couple years.
No, he's pretty much been the outside of Cameron Curl. We'll get into safety, but
yeah.
Outside of him, Kendall Fuller is pretty much the diamond in the rough in the secondary. Pretty much the whole Commanders' defense.
Yeah, he is.
He's pretty much been their only playmaker, their only reliable guy on the defense.
And I don't think they can afford to lose him, especially since they took him into Forbes last year, and they would still have to fulfill corner again.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they can afford it, but, I mean, he's going to get a market.
He's going to weigh his options, that's for sure.
He's just very strong in coverage.
Yeah.
I know he's up there in age a little bit. He's 29 years old. In fact, he just turned 29 last month. So he's up there.
I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible, but he's just right around that range where the corners are going to start dipping. Yeah.
So that's a little concern. But even then, Kendall Fuller, long-term starter for Washington. If the Steelers view that as a great asset, then yeah, you bring him in. Yeah. He's going to cost a little extra, but at least you would absolutely seal your corners, your outside corners. Another one I'll throw out there is Chidobe Awuzie. I know he hasn't really recovered greatly after his injury in 2020, but before that, he was locked down for the Bengals. Arguably their cornerback 1.
Well, yeah, because Eli Apple wasn't.
Clearly not. Clearly not. Very similar to to any of these names that they want to bring in for the cornerback position. This wouldn't force them to take cornerback so early if they don't have to. Chidobe Awuzie would come in and start initially, right? Probably like half the season, maybe, depending on his medicals.
Yeah.
But what I'm interpreting is he could come in as the cornerback 2, day 1 opposite JPJ. They could still draft a corner at some point, but they wouldn't have to rush in the rookie. And then maybe halfway through the season, depending on how Awuzie's doing, or God forbid injuries, then yeah, you throw in the rookie.
Yeah.
It would give them the ability to not have to take corner early, but still develop a guy underneath. Because Awuzie is up there with Kendall Fuller in age, so he wouldn't be here for the long haul. He wouldn't be the cornerback 2 opposite JPJ.
Although I believe Awuzie is a little bit younger. I think he's, maybe a year younger, something like that.
Yeah.
But still, I get what you mean.
But again, that injury I feel like it's affected him a little bit. But depending on his medicals, I'm sure the Steelers would view him as an option. And like I said, he could be the cornerback 2 for a little bit of the season. He'd be here a year or two. Very much like a Murphy-Bunting. Worst case, he's very good depth.
Yeah.
Very good depth.
Yeah. At this stage of his career with the injury that has harpered his play and his career a little bit, I mean, yeah, possible.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, they want to take a corner, which I still anticipate them taking a corner. I could see them double-dipping a corner. I think it's a necessity.
They did last year.
But that wouldn't force them to take corner so early.
Yeah.
And you bring in someone with leadership, with experience, which I think the corner room needs. They need it. Peterson's gone. They don't have that experience. They don't.
They really
don't have that mentorship. They
No.
don't. Who's the mentor in the secondary? Minka? That's a great mentor. It is. But we don't have that in the cornerback room.
Yeah.
So they could view that as an asset as well when it comes to grabbing someone via free agency. Mm-hmm. Bringing someone that can come in as a cornerback too. We don't have to take corners so early, but we need someone to help breed these young guys because we're going young. We're going to get younger. So look at that as a major factor. If there's one of these names I'm hoping the Steelers do get, I'd say on my true wish list would be Sean Murphy-Bunting. Just because he's younger, I think he can be here for a little longer. I think he's very capable of being an outside guy. I really like him a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those under-the-radar free agents the Steelers could absolutely look at. So I'll throw his name out there.
Yeah, but cornerback is something that they're going to have to fulfill for sure.
Oh, easily.
Because Pearson's gone. James Pierce is a free agent. Levi Wallace is a free agent. Want to bring that guy back. But, I mean, it goes to show they have to fill cornerback.
Yes.
And cornerback is now a big needy position for sure.
Oh, 100%. And so is strong safety.
Oh, is it? Boy, is it. I mean, we released Keanu Neal due to a failed physical. His medicals didn't check out, so the Steelers released him, saved a little bit of cap money. But now, DeMonte Casey's the only strong safety, and he's not exactly a pure strong safety. And he's not exactly a legitimate starter either.
No, he's not. If there is one position that the Steelers are most definitely going to pick up in free agency, it is safety.
As they should. As they should. It is absolutely safety. The safety market is freaking loaded more than a baked potato.
Oh, my goodness, dude. It's the most stacked I've ever seen free agency at the safety position. Ever. There are so many quality starters they could fill. They have to grab one. They have to. It's a must. They have to. And there's so many names they could choose from. If they really want to make a splash, and hey, they can throw as much money into the defense as they want because they're not paying no quarterback, no big quarterback money. So throw as much money in the defense as you want. I couldn't give a shit. If they want to go grab if they want to grab a big splash at safety, Xavier McKinney's your guy. But he's going to get a big market.
But like you stated, they want a big splash. They want to invest more into the defense. McKinney, I mean,
Him and Minka?
Oh
God, would feed generations.
My God.
God.
Yo, McKinney, I don't think he's even 25 yet.
No, he's so young. So a lot of starting experience, first-round pedigree. I mean, that's an absolute dream.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to throw his name out there because, you know.
Oh, he was a
why not?
standout for the Giants, man. Standout, just a hell of a playmaker. So reliable up there.
Yeah.
Good tackler, just as much.
But obviously, that could arguably be a pipe dream. So let's go a little more realistic. Let's go a little more decent options, right? Quality starters, very good starters, a lot of under the radar type names, underrated guys, right? And keep in mind, all these guys that we list are so young. They're very young, they're versatile, they have years of starting experience. It's incredible, which is why, again, they have to grab a starting safety in free agency. It's a must.
Yeah.
It's a must. And my goodness, there are endless names. And no, we're not getting a Jordan Poyer. We're not getting any of these other guys, and Eddie Jackson,
Micah Hyde, Kevin Byard, Justin Simmons.
Not happening.
Like those guys, yeah, they're out there, but they're also on the tier list of aging, and they're going to want big money.
Yeah, they are.
And I don't think you want to pay too much at the strong safety position.
We have to get younger. We got to get explosive. We got to get some playmakers. Every single guy we have here at the safety position that's listed has so much strong experience, is so young, and can be here to pair with Minka for at least the next 3 years. At least. Xavier McKinney, right? Next one is Jordan Whitehead. It's not hard to see why. Former Pitt Panther. He was a great playmaker for the Bucs, man, when they were on that Super Bowl run with Tom Brady. God, was he so great. Very underrated. Him and Winfield were dangerous.
Oh, my God.
He went to the Jets last year, still had a productive season, man. Still productive season.
Yeah, big part of that Jets defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, he's not going to be the biggest playmaker for you, but God.
No, he's a quiet player.
Boy,
he's a quiet player that can make plays and get them done.
Boy, can he play in the box, though. He's another box safety that can really do it all, man.
Yeah.
He's just, anywhere the football is at, he's around it. And the Steelers obviously have some familiarity with him because he was right next door for how many years with Pitt. I mean, he's soon to be 27 years old, but
Not terrible.
it's not terrible at all. He's a playmaker.
It's not terrible.
I like Jordan Whitehead. Another one I like is Jeremy Chin. Now, unlike Whitehead, I don't think he's as good as Whitehead. He had a very good start to his career in Carolina. Kind of dipped off a little bit, but still has starting experience. He's a guy that can play anywhere you want him to play, in the box, in the slot, deep. You know, he can do it.
He's a big body safety.
He is. He is. You know, he kind of reminds me of a Steelers strong safety a little bit. Cannot lie to you.
To some extent, yeah.
You know, he brings that physicality. He brings that blocks ability. I like Jeremy Chin. Always liked Jeremy Chin. Another one I always liked was Julian Blackman.
Yeah, he had a breakout year for the Colts last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a mistake if the Colts get rid of him.
Yeah.
I honestly think Julian Blackman could get a decent market. You want to talk about versatility? You want to talk about a guy that can play anywhere at the strong safety position? You sign this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many strong safeties I like in free agency, but he might be at the top there. He's only 25 years old, soon to be 26.
Yep.
So young, 4 years of starting experience over there, former third-round pick.
Yeah.
Playmaker through and through. 4 interceptions last year.
Willing tackler, man.
Man, he can play anywhere. Jordan Blackman is, most of these names that we list are targets, but there's just quite a few that are literally on my wish list. And Blackman's up there. Very good. Very good in coverage. Good run defender. I mean, he's a do-it-all strong safety. He would fit well in our system. Same thing with Cameron Curl. Very underrated. Probably never heard of him.
Being a seventh rounder 4 years ago and doing what he did since day one for the Commanders, he's been that steady starter. He's been that, not even just steady, he's been that stud starter for the Commanders at safety.
He has. He really has. He's another guy that can play anywhere. Mostly a box guy. He can absolutely play in the slot. He's good in the run defense. He's a playmaker himself. He for his story and his pedigree and him being a seventh rounder, very impressive. Very impressive story.
Yep.
And he's only gonna grow from here. I mean, he's not even 25 yet.
No.
So young. And 3-4 years of starting experience. It's incredible. I mean, I think that'd be a hell of an addition. Someone with so much youth, so much experience. The Steelers, just recently in free agency, that's their trend.
Yeah.
Mostly with the O-line, but they've been adding that in a lot of positions as well. They want that experience. They want the youth, and they need it in the secondary. So, again, any of these guys would be great, but Cameron Curl's another underrated option for sure. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I mean, it's hard to see why this guy wouldn't be an option. He's a great fit. This guy is literally the definition of versatility.
No, I would consider Gardner-Johnson as another one of these splash signings.
Yeah.
Just based off his dynamic and what he's been able to do for the Eagles. The Saints a little bit to start his career, but mainly the Eagles when he was traded there, and then, of course, the Detroit Lions. Even coming off what was supposed to be a season-ending injury, he was able to come back for a playoff push and be a part of that defense. Let's go to show you the type of football character this guy has.
Yeah.
And just his attitude and his pedigree, it's very contagious throughout the fan base from the Eagles fan base and the Lions fan base, and of course the players on the field and the locker room. It's very contagious.
And you've seen what he's done the past 2 years for some playoff teams with the Eagles, with the Lions. I mean, wow.
A turnover magnet, a turnover machine, and a hell of a playmaker.
Oh, especially with the Eagles in 2022.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I mean, I know he was injured mostly last year, but again, he came back strong, and he should get a market because he's a playmaker. He's a versatile piece. He's mostly known for playing in the slot, but he can literally play anywhere.
Yeah,
he's a great safety, man.
He's a guy that you ask what to do, he will do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guy can just do it all for you.
He will go out there and perform.
Yeah.
He will go out there and ball.
Only 26 years old.
Still young. And I would have to expect that he gets a solid long-term deal coming his way. I thought he was going to get that last year.
Yeah, I don't know how he hasn't yet.
I thought he was going to get that with Detroit.
Yeah.
I guess they played it safe, and he's a guy that could absolutely come back for Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
And that defense.
I could see it, but they already have their safeties fulfilled.
They already do. So Gardner-Johnson could be on his way out, and he could be looking for another deal, 3-4 year deal. Maybe it's Pittsburgh.
Yeah, absolutely. Terrell Edmonds.
Hey, why the fuck not? Swear jar.
Yeah.
Why the hell not?
Terrell Edmonds.
34 of it. Yeah, it is, because Chandler Sullivan ain't back yet.
No. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, we could do better. I know. We could absolutely do better. But I don't hate bringing him back. I didn't want him to leave last year.
No.
And this is coming from two dudes
And listen,
that called him a bust.
Go for it. We flat out said this man sucks. This man's not good. He is not living up to the first round pedigree. And
He blocked us on Twitter.
he did. X. Twitter back
Whatever.
then. Yes. Yeah, but Edmonds came into his own slowly but surely. It was a slow progression. It was a slow build for Terrell Edmonds in his Steelers career, but he was able to build himself to be that very quiet but steady player at strong safety.
Yeah, listen.
And what he did at strong safety, playing in the box, doing what he was able to do, not a guy that was going to make a lot of splash plays, a lot of turnovers, a lot of big plays, But what Edmonds did was why Minka was able to make those plays.
Exactly.
Edmonds allowed Minka to do what Minka needed to do.
And perhaps maybe that's why Minka had an off year. I know he had injuries, but maybe that's why he had an off year.
You could
he
consider
doesn't have that compliment.
You could consider that, yeah.
He doesn't have that compliment. He doesn't. I know.
They built that chemistry. They built that chemistry. They knew, like, they read each other's minds.
Yeah.
They knew, all right, you're over there, you're going to do this, I'm going to do my thing.
Yeah.
They read each other.
Absolutely.
They had that communication. And the Steelers, they didn't want Edmonds to leave. I believe they offered him a contract. Edmonds just took a chance on himself, which you have to respect.
And perhaps absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Edmonds was an Eagle, then got traded to the Titans, and he helped us get into the playoffs. Thank you, Edmonds.
Steeler for life.
Perhaps, maybe if he signs back.
Hey, yeah, we'll
Maybe
see.
if he signs back.
We'll see. Maybe I went far on that one.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. But no, I appreciate Edmonds. I'm a fan. I just I would welcome him back. We could absolutely do better. But if they want him back, I would not say no.
No, I appreciate it. In the end, I appreciated Edmonds' contributions as a Steeler, and I would welcome him with open arms, even as a depth guy.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Another one I'll throw out there. This is the last one. Deshaun Elliott.
Yep.
Former Raven, playmaker for the Raven. Then he was with the Dolphins last year.
Yeah. Started strong safety alongside Javon Holland. And they had a pretty
were a good duo.
They were a very good duo. A pretty good season last year.
Yeah.
For a couple years, actually.
And, dude, Elliott, man, is another one of these guys that just has so much starting experience. And he's played for some quality playoff teams. He's only 26 years old.
And he's another one of those guys, kind of similar to Cameron Curl, of late-round pedigree. He was a sixth-rounder being drafted by Baltimore, and he just built his way up the roster into a very quality starting
Baltimore
safety.
just has a thing for that, don't they?
They
Because look
do.
at Geno Stone.
Yeah, he's another guy out there. He's another guy. Probably more of a free safety.
Yeah.
Probably. But, I mean, Geno Stone's a playmaker.
Yeah.
And, he's going to be getting the bag.
Yeah, absolutely. But Elliott, I mean, he's a pure box guy. Pure box guy. Can play, along the line of scrimmage. Can cover and blanket tight ends. He's good in coverage. He's a strong defender. I like Elliott. I always liked Elliott, even coming out of Texas. So I'll throw his name into that chart as well. All these safeties we've listed are guys that fit the Steelers' trend of what they want to add in free agency, and is exactly what we need at strong safety, which is guys with youth, so much experience, and guys that will come in and be playmakers for us.
Yeah.
Guys that will come in and fulfill that need for at least the next 3 years alongside Minka. And they're all quality starters. They all are starters in this league, truthfully.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's so many starting safeties in the free agency market, again, the Steelers have to sign one. And I have no doubt in my mind they will. How can they not?
They have to.
It'll be one of the biggest mistakes if they don't.
Dude, it's freaking loaded.
It'll be one of the biggest mistakes in free agency if they don't. I'd imagine it'll be one of their earliest moves is if they go and grab one of these safeties.
Yeah.
I'd hope so. There's so many other names out there. But these are some of our favorites. Any of these would be great additions. I'd be happy with any of them. They want to make a splash with McKinney, go ahead. McKinley, go ahead. If you want to go with quality starters that are that can fill in the box role, versatile pieces, any of these guys fit the bill.
They do.
So we'll love that for sure. Another position we got to talk about is D-line. Now, like we mentioned, they brought back Brandon Fehoko. They have Montravius Adams and Armand Watts still to be free agents. One or both or neither could be back. I don't know exactly if they do get a defensive lineman in free agency, but it wouldn't hurt to add an extra body.
No, especially when it comes to depth purposes.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the free agency market at defensive line outside the top guys like Chris Jones and people like that, I mean, everybody else is
Christian Wilkins and all that.
Yeah, everybody else is pretty much depth, and that's all we need.
Yeah, that's
all we're really looking for.
We need a good rotational piece. We do. Adams could be gone. Watts could be gone. There goes our two main rotational pieces, right? DeMarvin Leal might as well be gone. His days are numbered, just based on what Tomlin said. Isaiah Loudermilk,
I feel like he's been here forever.
Yeah, so I think we need some fresh blood in there. We need some young faces in that D-line group to fulfill that backup role, to fill some depth, right?
Yeah, get some fresh faces in that group.
And these are some guys that have starting experience. Some of these guys are young. These guys are big bodies for sure, and some of them have some high pedigree. One of them is Javon Kinlaw. He's expected to be a free agent from the San Francisco 49ers. He was a former first rounder.
He was supposed to replace DeForest Buckner when they traded him to the Colts for that first rounder. He hasn't lived up to it.
No.
Nowhere even remotely close to DeForest
But
Buckner.
he is a good rotational piece.
As far as that goes, yes. That's what at this current stage of his career, that's what fits him best.
Yes, he'll be a good rotational piece. He has that pedigree, great size for his position. I think he'll be one hell of a rotational guy. Another one I throw out there is Tim Settle. Now, last time he was a free agent, he was another one on our wish list just because Mike Tomlin has always praised him when talking about Tim Settle when we used to go up against the Washington in 2020 or the Bills multiple times, right? So I would think, especially with the Virginia Tech connection,
Yeah.
because Settle came out of Virginia Tech, so Tomlin just likes that a lot. That's where he grew up. So I would think that's a factor, and maybe Tim Settle coming to the Steelers. He's a decent rotational piece as well. He's still young, some starting experience. So we'll throw his name into that category. Wouldn't be my first choice, but I'm just going to throw him out there. Greg Gaines is another one, very underrated one. A lot of starting experience with the Rams before he became a Buck last year. Very good rotational piece. Very good, very dominant.
Yeah.
Very strong, good build. Obviously has that starting experience, so God forbid anything happens at the D-line position with injuries, which seems to happen every year. We got someone that is no stranger to starting in case of emergency.
Yep.
So Greg Gaines, I think, is an underrated piece for anyone that could be brought back or could bring into the defensive line group. I would be surprised if the Bucs want to bring him back.
No, I can see it. I can see it.
Another one I'll add there is Leaky Fotu.
Yeah.
This one should be familiar because this is a guy we wanted coming out of the draft when he was drafted.
Big guy out of Utah. Yeah, he was a 4th-round pick by Arizona. Hasn't really been
Big boy.
He's a massive guy. What is it, like 335, 6'5"?
Dude, something like that.
Something like that. You know, he's a big guy. He's a big defensive lineman.
He does have some injury concerns. Some starting experience. I think he started last couple games or last couple seasons with the Cardinals. Not too many games in there because of the injuries, but he has been listed as a starter. He can get some hurries. He won't get a lot of sacks, but he's a big body that commends double teams, can easily fill the gaps. I like him as a rotational guy.
Yeah, as a rotational guy. He hasn't really lived up as a full-blown starter, as a full-time starter.
Well, he was a 4th-round pick?
Yeah, but as a rotational piece, just like Javon Kinlaw, that's what fits him best.
Yeah, I think Steelers showed some interest in him coming out of college as well. So
Just get a big body. Just get a big boy on this D-line.
he just looks like a Steelers defensive lineman. He's one of them big guys. He's one of them big bullies that's going to just clog up holes for the running backs.
Yep.
So we got to like that a lot. So, again, I don't know if they target defensive line, but I want to throw it out there because maybe it's a possibility, and these are some of the names I like. Last but not least, the most important position for the Steelers, right?
Oh, my God, man. Number 1 on my list.
My God. We need a punter, man.
We ain't got one.
We need a fucking punter.
We ain't got one.
Swear jar. The one at the top of our list is Tommy Townsend.
No question about it. No
Come
question
on.
about it.
Come on.
I'm surprised the Chiefs want to let him go.
Dude,
For the punt god.
they got it. They have to sign a veteran punter. They need one. They could easily draft someone, but I mean, our recent history of drafting special teamers hasn't panned out. They could grab an undrafted free agent. They're no stranger to that for competition.
Yeah.
But you need a pure starter. You need some experience. Tommy Townsend's there. Another one is, how do you say his name? Rigoberto Sanchez.
Rigoberto Sanchez, the Colts punter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could see that. Cameron Johnston, he's a little older.
He's more of that experienced. He's like, 31, 32 years old. But then again, punters can last
Forever.
up to 40 years old.
Yeah.
Or forever, like you stated. You know, he's more of that veteran type of punter that I would probably imagine the Steelers are going to want to look at.
Yeah.
But, I mean, wherever he's been, the Eagles or the Texans, I mean, he's been a pretty reliable punter.
Yeah. Or Corey Bojaquez.
Yeah, the Browns punter.
Yeah.
To which, I mean, he had to punt a lot last year, and he was pretty good
Did
at
he?
it. He was pretty good
I'll tell
at
you
it.
what, any of these guys are upgrades. Any of these guys.
Any of these guys, you know, they got a foot. They can pin them deep consistently, you know. Just either one of these guys would be a very solid punter, a guy that can be able to do what they've been able to do for their previous teams, pin offenses deep, because punters we had, Presley Harvin, just wasn't consistent at it, and it tired out our defense.
Yeah.
And we all know we're going to be relying on the defense heavily once again for another freaking year.
Yeah.
So getting a reliable punter that can pin them down deep consistently is crucial.
Sure.
We got it. We got to strike on that.
Absolutely.
Because again, special teams matters.
It does. Avali Ford in the chat says Brandon Mann unless the Eagles resign him. Yeah, I mean, because of that, experience. Yeah, sure.
Experience.
This guy couldn't even beat out Presley Harvin.
I mean, if we're going to throw out Brandon Mann out there, I'll say, why not get Brad Wing back? Give him a call.
Why not? Why not?
I don't know.
That'd be doing the bare minimum, man. I want an actual punter.
Yeah, get a punter, man. Just like Danielle says, get a punter, swear jar.
Get a punter, swear jar.
Shout out to Danielle in the chat.
Yeah, get a punter, man. Seriously.
Come on.
Outside of that, I mean, yeah, we went through pretty much a lot of players, a whole list. These are all potential options, but to dumb it down a little bit, to level it down, if there is a true wish list, I'm just gonna give it to you guys. In every certain position, right? And this is just like one player for each position, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because we mentioned a lot of names, but if we want to go with a full wish list, Mason Rudolph,
Quarterback.
Matt Collins,
Wide receiver. I would say Tyler Boyd. That's just me personally.
okay, that's fine. Mike Owenu, please. That's my biggest fucking wish.
Right tackle.
Please, man.
I would have to agree there.
Be over the moon.
You do cartwheels.
Oh my God. Center. If they want a pure starter, like a legitimate starter that could be here for a little bit, Cushenberry.
Lloyd Cushenberry, yeah.
Otherwise, if they want someone as an insurance policy, as competition, quote unquote, Hennessy. Nothing wrong with Hennessy.
I could see Brewer being the guy. I really could.
Andre James maybe. Again, not a lot of names at center that excite me. I'd rather do this.
That's why.
But we know they're gonna grab one, so
As they should.
I'll go Cushenberry. But that would also, in my opinion, take away center, or at least push it back. I don't want to do that.
I think it really depends.
I don't wanna do that.
It really depends.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Defensive line, I'm gonna go Greg Gaines.
Okay.
Inside linebacker. This is tough because I like a lot of these guys.
See, I'm torn between Jerome Baker and Blake Cashman because both
Same.
guys are very good. Both guys are very
Same.
good.
But I like Willie Gay too because of that experience and his playmaking ability.
I think Steelers would go chemistry though. I think because I mean, it's their thing, it's their go-to. I'll go with Baker. I like Baker a lot.
I'll go a three-way tie between Baker, Willie Gay, and Blake Cashman.
Okay.
Cornerback, Sean Murphy-Bunting. I think he's very underrated.
I would agree.
Strong safety. God, there's so many fucking names here. I'm gonna go
Three-way tie?
I can't go three-way tie.
I'm gonna go Xavier McKinney, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and let's go Julian Blackman. Because I can't pick one. I can't pick
either
one.
Jordan Whitehead, Julian Blackman, Cameron Curl, or Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Okay, you're gonna one-up me. All right.
One of those four.
All right.
Otherwise, anyone else would be fine with me, but that's who I would really like.
Yeah, and punter Tommy Townsend.
Tommy Townsend. Enough said.
Yeah.
So I guess that's all we got to say in regards to the Steelers' free agency targets and pretty much who they could bring in and who they really should bring in, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
Now, I know we missed a super chat or two, so I definitely want to
we definitely want
get to that.
Of course.
Let me see.
Get on with it.
Sigla with a $5 says, hey, why not sign Russ and still trade for Justin so him and Kenny can battle out for second quarterback in the future? What say you? Not a bad idea, but in that case, we would have to trade very little for Fields to make it proper.
Yeah.
Which would be like a fourth rounder, maybe.
And the Bears may or may not, depending on how they truly feel about Fields, they may just want to toss him to the curb and say, you know what, we're done with him. Let's go with Caleb.
Yeah. So I like that option. I do like that option as long as we don't trade so much for Fields.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ben Harfield becomes a member of the STN. Appreciate you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Alex Watson becomes a member of the STN. Shout out to Alex.
Thanks, Alex, man.
And he gifted 20 SteelTwins memberships. Twice.
So 40. Alex
Holy
Watson.
shit.
Shout out to Alex Watson right here, man.
Holy
He gifted
shit.
40.
All our rambling, we completely missed it.
40 SteelTwins memberships, man.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. Man, that's awesome, man. And of course, for those that are STN members or are interested in being STN members, you guys get exclusive emotes in the chat, which they will be updated as the offseason goes on.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. If Russell Wilson gets signed, there will be a Let's Ride emote. I'm just putting it out there.
Let's ride. Yeah, I'm gonna give some applause emoji to Alex Watson in the chat. I just got to, man.
Exclusive access to early uploads, such as mock drafts coming up. That will be happening for sure. And giveaways. It's not officially listed as a perk because YouTube will not allow it because they consider it spam when literally, like, what are we spamming? What are we spamming?
We did that one time. What was it? 2 years ago, actually. We put a link in the description, and they gave us a strike for it.
Yeah, we couldn't upload for a few days.
Remember that shit?
So we can't officially put it under the perks, but memberships are coming exclusively for the STN members. Exclusively. And that does include the swear jar giveaways that will be coming. And I said giveaways because of the amount, which was high, and part of me feels ashamed for how high it was, but still.
It's for a good cause.
It's able to give back to you guys. And the best way we can is to everyone that signs up for the STN membership because literally it's the easiest way for anyone to qualify because the name's already there.
Yep.
We put it all in a randomized wheel and it spins and whoever it lands on is the fucking winner. So there you have it. Then those giveaways will be coming shortly. There will be a draft giveaway, which will be Joey Porter Jr., a signed jersey. And George Pickens will be coming up very shortly.
Yes, sir.
So details on that will be coming shortly. Follow us on X for updates and check in the community tab for updates on that as well. So not one, but 2 giveaways are coming to STN members only to give back to you guys. So thank you guys for everything, man. Seriously. Can't thank you guys enough, man. Rob Lightfoot says, hey, guys, grade my first mock draft. First round. Okay, here we go. This is going to be interesting. First round, cornerback, Nate Wiggins. I like that. I know he's light. He might have a little injury concerns, but
I love his height. I feel like he could add a bit muscle to that height. I feel like he's a little scrawny. But I have seen his film. The guy plays very, very physical.
I like Wiggins, and the Steelers are showing interest.
And he is fast.
Very fast. We need speed.
Yeah.
Second round, Devondre Sweat. Love him.
Love it.
Fucking mammoth. Dude, you can talk about a guy that commands double teams and can get some pressure and stop the run game. Look no further. This guy's gonna be a demon. Third round, Javon Bowler. Dude, I'm already loving this. I like Slow
it.
down, man. Slow down.
We adding to the defense right here. He's fulfilling corner. He's adding to the D line, the future of the D line.
Now I have to stress, where's my center? I need a center.
Unless he sees us fulfilling it in free agency. Maybe that's Cushenberry.
Perhaps. Fourth round, Audric Estime, running back.
Oh, is that the Notre Dame back?
Yes.
Is that the Notre Dame back? That's not a bad pickup. Running back 3.
Fifth. We don't have a 5th round pick.
No.
But
No,
we
don't.
could always get one.
If we trade somebody, who'd that be? I don't know.
Johnny Wilson, wide receiver. We need extra receiver depth. They're definitely going to go receiver at some point.
Yeah.
I think they go receiver a little earlier. I don't see them going receiver any later than the 4th, but they're still going to need a receiver. Defensive line, Justin, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but defensive lineman could use some extra depth.
Yeah.
You double dip at D-line, okay.
And he double dips at safety too with Evan Williams.
Evan Williams is underrated. He's going to be a late sleeper. Solid mock, but I need my center. I need some explanation if you think that we're going to pick up a tackle and a center for agency. It's not bad. Joe says Jeremiah Trotter Jr. He's solid, man. He's a little undersized. He needs to work on wrapping the tackles, but he's a play. I ain't gonna lie, he's a playmaker.
He is.
The guy makes plays at every category you can ask him to. And of course, the NFL bloodline.
Yeah, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. He's got everything that the Steelers would be want to be looking for a draft prospect, especially a linebacker.
I wouldn't hate him in the. I wouldn't hate him in the third.
No, third round would be right around where I would expect Trotter to go, and I wouldn't hate it either. His size does worry me, but I mean he is a dynamic player.
Yeah.
I mean whatever you ask him to do, he's going to do it.
Oh.
And he would be a nice little development before we get him in rotations.
Sure.
Which would be best for Trotter.
Sure.
I wouldn't hate it.
No,
I wouldn't hate the pickup.
I don't hate Trotter. I just I don't like him as much as the other linebackers. That doesn't mean I don't like him as a prospect.
Oh yeah, I get that.
You cannot deny his playmaking ability.
No.
My guy, he's everywhere on the field. Got a couple things.
If he was bigger, then I think he might be number 1.
If he had Edgerrin Cooper's height, then yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe even Peyton Wilson's speed. Like
Well, he didn't run the 40, so we don't know that.
Yeah, that's true.
They'll be at the Clemson Pro Day though.
If he's healthy enough. If he's healthy enough.
They're never not there.
Yeah.
They're never not at the Clemson Pro Day. They met with him at the Combine. They met with almost every single top linebacker at the Combine, except Peyton Wilson.
Yeah.
I love Peyton Wilson, but God, does he have so many injury concerns, dude.
He did
6 injuries since high school.
I know. Although the past 2 years he's been healthy.
You're
so
right.
if there's anything you want to hold on to, it is that he's been available the past 2 college seasons, which is great.
He changed his diet. He changed the way he just takes care of his body. He changed up a lot.
And I'll tell you, that plays a big factor, especially in the sport of football.
Sure does.
You know, conditioning and diet and just, how you're taking care of your body overall.
Oh, he's going to be a great player if he can stay healthy.
He reminds me a lot of Sean Lee. Of the Cowboys. He reminds me a lot of Sean Lee. Just very quick, physical, just mean, can cover, can stop the run. The injury concerns are there, hence you get the comparison. But when he's healthy, I mean, you see his impact on that field.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Okay, what the hell? Kenny for a punter is funny unless we use a draft pick from a Kenny trade to get that punter out of Iowa, which is Torrey
Taylor, yes.
Kenny has no trade value, bro. He's no trade value. No trade value. They're not going to trade Kenny. I'd be shocked if they trade Kenny. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
They ain't doing that. They love Kenny.
Kenny needs to finish his story, says the Kenny Crybabies.
What story?
Fuck your story.
What story? That he's a Pitt legend?
Fuck your story.
He ain't finishing nothing.
Listen, I fell for the story, and let me tell you, I'm embarrassed that I was ever sold.
This is the worst chapter I've ever read. This is the worst story I've ever seen.
It's not even over yet, dude. It's like a long movie. You just have to finish the story.
It's just dragging.
You don't want
it's just dragging.
But you just have to.
It's just dragging, man. The Kenny Crybabies.
Maybe it's one of those things where it's so bad you can't look away.
Yeah, like Kenny's under center, he's about to drop back. Oh no, but then you peek and then it's
as bad as you thought it was.
Oh my God. Like that Johnson throw. That should have been a touchdown. Remember that?
Yes.
Oh my
I was thinking
God.
about it yesterday.
Oh my Lord.
I was thinking about it literally just yesterday. I don't know why. There are times when I'm working and I think back to certain moments of the Steelers season last year. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how the hell does that happen? How does he not make that throw? I was thinking of that exact play against the Jags. He was wide open for a long fucking minute, and he just kept looking at the sideline too long.
Yeah.
I get why he did it. It was to blanket the corner, but clearly he just took too long on the read.
Yeah.
Kenny is Brucey from Longest Yard.
How much popcorn does he have back there?
Does that mean he should play kicker? Does that mean he should play kicker?
If it works for onside kicks, I mean, hey, he's got to roll. But I can already see it. I can already see the memes going on. Fucking Russell Wilson were to sign, right? And then just, Brucey when he's crying, when he's shaking hands with the Michael Irvin and the players, Terry Crews. Yeah. When they agree to be a part of the football team in the movie and he starts crying, no, I'll never get to play. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
I don't know. No, Kenny's going to play. Kenny's going to get a chance.
Is he?
All joking aside,
If Wilson signs?
Well, if Wilson signs, no. But
that's what I'm saying.
We'll see.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll see what happens. Let's see what's up in the chat. Valley Ford says, Stroud and Purdy really shortened Kenny's leash. Those guys came in right away and performed. I want to say just those guys. Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, fucking who else? So many guys that were under rookie contracts and took their teams to long playoff stinks or even Super Bowl runs.
Yeah.
You look at Joe Burrow, led him to the Super Bowl within his rookie contract, right? Jalen Hurts, same thing. Brock Purdy, same thing. Pat Mahomes before he got a big contract, same thing. So, yeah, the expectation was there because, one, we drafted him in the first round, and we're the Pittsburgh fucking Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me for having the expectations a little higher because we're not those other franchises.
I mean, why should we not have our expectations high? It's a first-round quarterback in a quarterback-driven league. I'm sorry. Why should we not have our expectations higher?
And we mentioned it a little bit last year where...
Are we wrong for that?
The Steelers have to strike with Kenny and his rookie contract for paying him, but truthfully, it was all about Kenny having to strike himself, and he just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it sucks. Maybe we'll get that opportunity elsewhere. How is your dental work? Painful. Painful.
Yeah, he went through some pain. Yeah.
But I'm glad.
You doing good now?
Yeah, I'm doing good now.
All right, good.
Knock
good.
on wood. Hopefully
good.
nothing comes back. But yeah. Jay Swizzle with a 199 says, if you guys were GM, you doing Fields or Wilson?
If I had to pick?
Well, I'm telling you right now, I don't think Fields is the answer.
If I had to pick,
Wilson's a bridge.
Yeah,
I'll leave this to you.
well, here's how I envision it. Because if you were to trade for Fields, you're giving up draft comp, and you're taking his rookie contract, which I would imagine is pretty pricey.
Well, you're not taking his fifth year option.
And you're not taking that either. Wilson, when it comes to this year, he's dirt cheap. You only got to sign him for at least that 1 year. And Fields, I mean, I see him as a bridge quarterback just as much as Wilson. I don't really think Fields is the answer. I don't really think
But
Fields
he
is...
has that little dose of what if.
Yeah,
But
sure.
it's that what if that might entice you enough.
Yeah, sure. But I also look at a cap standpoint just as much with the rookie
Fair.
contract and, again, trading away draft capital. With Wilson, it's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And that's whatever.
All right, I'm going to pick option C, Mason.
I'm going to answer the damn question, all right? If I had to pick one, I'll pick Wilson.
Really?
I'll pick Wilson,
Okay.
believe it or not.
Okay. At least Wilson's had some success.
Sure.
Fletcher Comer Jr.
Plus, listen, I'll give this to Wilson. He doesn't turn the ball over as much as Fields.
Fair. That's a fair argument. What about Levi Wallace? He should have been one of the first ones fired. What in the world did they see in him? I don't know, man. Why they kept him the starter for so long is a mystery that's beyond unsolved.
I'm keeping my
dude.
fingers crossed that he is not here anymore.
No, he's a free agent. They shouldn't even, bro. They should look at the name on the list, and they shouldn't even look at it. They should just be like, no.
See,
He's
I
gone.
looked at the free agent rankings for cornerback. Levi wasn't even on the list.
No.
He wasn't even on the list, man.
No.
My God.
Drake Barrett, what would you want for DJ? Nothing less than a second rounder. I'd accept a high third round pick. That's it.
Yeah.
Or a player that could fill a gaping hole.
Right.
Who that is, I don't know. Maybe L'Jarius Sneed, but do you want to give Deontay? Do you want to give Mahomes Deontay? I don't.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't.
Yeah.
Not in that fucking system. If Kenny plays, he will get hurt again. He has finished 18 out of 25 starts. He does have injury concerns. You're right.
Yeah, you just can't last a full season.
Yeah.
How many was it? 2 concussions and a shoulder injury. I think maybe a groin injury too.
Yep.
It's like injuries already piling up for his young career.
Yeah.
Can't go on a full season. It's worrisome.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem.
It's just another one of those things, one of those red flags that Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, one of many.
One of many.
Let me see here.
Yeah. Here, I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. Let me see. Where the hell is the... One second, guys. I just lost the link. Son of a bitch. Shit, while that loads, let me see what's going on in the chat. Think a trade with New England makes sense for Johnson. It does. It does. I mean, New England's not a threat, so go for it. Unless they draft Jaden Daniels, then I'll be a little upset. But, you know, I don't know what the new administration is, so it's a little unproven. But, yeah, I do agree, Mr. Steelers fan. That makes sense. Wilson rubs off as not a good teammate in the locker room. I've heard that. That's a little concern. I got to do a little more digging in terms of that concern. I've heard it whispered around, but I haven't actually, dug in enough to understand that, because we don't want a bad leader in the locker room. No, we don't. Not with all the personalities on the offensive side. No Band-Aid. We need Fields and build for the future. For the right price, it's worth it. Like Wilson, it's worth it for the right price. Vet minimum, go for it. For Fields, for something as cheap as a 4th rounder, go for it. It's worth a shot. Why not? I wouldn't get my expectations too high on either, but it's one of those things like, hey, fuck it, let's go for it. Sign Boyd and trade DJ for the best we can and draft another wide receiver. It's not a bad option. It's not a bad alternate whatsoever. 3rd and 5th for DJ. It's not bad. It's not bad. Because we need a 5th, and I'd take a high 3rd. I don't hate that at all. It's pretty much what we got out of AB, so you know what I mean? Big Ben would have been in 6 Super Bowls if it wasn't for Brady. I mean, a lot of quarterbacks would have been in Super Bowl if it wasn't for Brady. I mean, 2 AFC Championship losses and Jesse James. And Kenny and the Steelers can't use Mahomes as an excuse. They're struggling to even make the playoffs. I agree, Ben. I agree. 100%. 100%. Your thoughts on drafting Cooper DeJean? Would be a home run pick. Cooper DeJean would be great. I don't think he's going to be there.
What, Coop?
Coop DeJean.
Man, he's going to be a top draft pick, man. If he's there and listen, if he's there and JPJ is off the board, I mean, that would be hard to pass up on.
Yeah, I don't
that
think
really would be.
It would be, man. I mean, any of the top corners. I mean, if Quentin Mitchell's there.
Now, although it's possible.
Terry and Arnold. I mean, Scott. Yeah. I mean, you're talking.
Now, although it's possible, I think it's a very slim chance Cooper DeJean is there at 20.
I don't think he's gonna be there.
But you never know.
Do you think we make the playoffs again if we resign Mason? Yes.
I think we have a shot. I think we have a shot.
I think as we stand, when you look at all our options, Fields, Wilson, Kenny, Mason, whoever, I think Mason still gives us the best chance. I do.
I agree.
Truthfully, man, no matter who the quarterback is next year, I think they're going to be within playoff contention just because that's how Mike Tomlin operates. With this defense, with this run game, that's how we're going to operate. But I don't find any greater success than what we've gotten the past number of years. It's going to be fun for the playoffs. If we get in, then
let's just hope we don't get blown out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't mind a Fields or a Wilson because it's the year of the bridge. No matter what, I see us fighting for a playoff spot. It's just a matter of which one's the best option.
And that might very well be Mason based off his chemistry with the team, the players, coaches. And it's just the fact that he has shown that he can get the ball to these people.
Yeah. Got to get a pick to replace Johnson in the trade. If DJ leaves, we have one starting wide receiver. Yeah, that's why I want nothing less than a second rounder at most.
Yeah.
Because wide receiver stacked. We can definitely get a gem day 2. I mean, Steelers love their day 2 guys. They have no issue replacing wide receivers. So if they were able to get something as high as that, God, that'd come a long way. Plus what they could fill in free agency, holy shit. At least one, preferably 2, of cornerback, 2 right tackle and center need to be addressed for free agency with a decent starter. Can't have a 3rd, 4th round rookie as the incumbent starters at those positions. Kendrick Green. Dan Moore.
Yeah.
Back-to-back picks, by the way. What the fuck was Colbert thinking? I am disgusted.
I don't know.
God, I'll be back. I gotta walk away from
I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He went out wanting to fill the quarterback position and the center position, and what he did was sign Mitch Trubisky and Mason Cole.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Love Kevin Colbert. Always appreciative of everything he did as the Steelers GM. But, man, during his last years, man, he really, and I mean really, set the team back. Hence why Omar Khan's trying to clean up the mess that he left. It's unfortunate. Man, you look back at that, it's just like, wow. What a swing and a miss. What a complete whiff by Colbert. And here we are still talking about it. Here we are talking about this man needs to be replaced. This man should no longer be the starter, this and that, you know. Floor is 9-8 and the 17th pick. Ceiling is 10-7 and the 20th pick. The Mike Tomlin special, LOL, says Ben V.
Oh, man. Don't you
are
just love
correct.
Mediocrity?
You are correct.
Listen, guys. That's going to be the case. You know, don't let no addition change that ruling. That's just going to be the case. We're not going to win another one under Mike Tomlin until proven otherwise.
Listen. I remember the offseason last year and just how much Omar Khan added through free agency and the draft and how much he revamped at this position and that position.
Well, I don't. First of all, I just want to say this. I don't want to give Khan a lot or all the praise because, frankly, 2 of the additions we made last year are now released, literally at the same time.
Right, true.
Like, he signed Peterson, he signed Robinson, or he traded for Robinson. I get why, right?
It was investments that he took the chance on, and I can see why he did
wanted leaderships in the locker room, right?
I see why he did.
I get it, but now they're not here no more.
Yeah.
And we got to fulfill those positions
That's
again.
true. But what I was getting at is, you know, everything that he added, you know, looking at least on paper, and that's always the thing, on paper it looked like a much better roster compared to Kenny's rookie year, and we all thought we were going to have a much better year, a much more advanced year.
Yeah.
It seems that's always the case every year, only for Mike Tomlin to show, hey, it's the same thing. It's the same season. It's the same episode. It's the same movie. It's the same dinner. It's the same shit.
Right.
SOS, same old Steelers. It sucks. It sucks. As much as I hate to say it, that's what I'm expecting as long as Tomlin is the coach. Because that's just how it is. And that's how it be.
Yeah, I mean, we've stated that for multiple years now, and our opinion is not going to change until proven otherwise. It's just how it is. But that doesn't mean that we should go in the offseason with no care in the fucking world.
No,
I want to improve this team. I want to get the best player available. So when I hear certain news and I see certain prospects, I get excited at the idea of them joining the team.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I want.
You always got.
I want Con and Company. I want Con and Company to go out there and be aggressive and spend money and act like a kid in a candy store and get this and that, sign this guy and that guy, have this guy be a Steeler, that guy be a Steeler, you know?
Omar Khan has stated, man, my job is to make us a better football team and compete for a Super Bowl. My guy, you are the GM. That's all I want to hear.
So make moves. Make the moves.
Seriously. Khan signed those free agents to contract that were easy to release without huge amounts of dead money. Bad signs, but good contracts. And then that's the thing. It's financially worked for them in that fact.
Yeah, knowing what Khan did before being promoted to GM, you know, he was the cap wizard before being King Khan. So, you know, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing when it comes to a cap standpoint. He's very smart with it.
Is there any other news floating around?
That's what I'm looking for. I'm not seeing anything at the moment.
Right.
As far as the NFL pertains, no. Nothing on X as far as NFL-related news goes.
First of all, we have a little news here.
Oh, yeah? About what?
Well, first of all, Tyler Lockett's staying in Seattle. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. I expected that. Why would he leave? Is there anything else?
According to Pittsburgh Clothing Co., Russell Wilson, and this was as of 7:51 p.m., Russell Wilson is sitting courtside at the Pitt NC State game.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Is that true?
Let me see.
I
need photo proof. Where is he?
Yeah, the game was today. Pittsburgh and North Carolina. Pittsburgh won. The Panthers. Good for them. Yeah, the game was today. He was at the game. He was courtside.
I mean, according to this.
Pittsburgh Clothing Company?
Where was the game played?
Pittsburgh.
Was it?
Here, let me double check. Just in case.
No, hold on, wait a minute.
Yes, yeah, right
No,
here.
wait a minute, hold on. Where'd he go to college? Didn't he go to NC State?
Who? Russell?
Russell.
I don't remember.
I could have sworn he's an NC State cat.
Hold on. Russell Wilson. When it comes to the college level, NC State.
I knew it.
NC State 2007, 2010 before transferring to Wisconsin. Quite the coincidence.
I don't know.
Quite the coincidence that he's going to visit the Steelers in Pittsburgh the weekend of a Pittsburgh Panthers college basketball game against NC State.
Might be something, might be nothing. Yeah, I know. He was drafted as a Badger. I know, but
he went to NC State.
I knew he transferred from somewhere. I could have sworn it was NC State, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Do you want Tyler Boyd in the Steelers uniform? Yeah, I would love Tyler Boyd in the Steelers uniform. I don't know if it actually happens, but yeah, I'd love it.
It's on my wish list. I'm not expecting it, but I would love it. I would love it.
If you trade DJ, then you need to spend money on Calvin Ridley and free agency and pair him with Pickens and then draft another receiver. It's not a bad idea. Ridley's a little more inconsistent, but it's not a bad idea. Would he be cheaper than DJ?
I consider so.
If Mahomes was the Steelers quarterback next year, would they win a Super Bowl or would Tomlin screw it up? They're winning the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Mahomes,
when it comes
Mahomes is a fucking
when it comes
winner.
to Mahomes, it don't matter who's the coach, who's the wide receiver, who's the running back, who's the offensive.
Andy Reid couldn't win a damn Super Bowl until he got Mahomes, man. If Mahomes is the quarterback next year, we're winning.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
No matter where, bro. The Chiefs have been nowhere but the AFC Championship game since he's coming, bro. So to answer your question, yeah, if he was the Steelers quarterback, yeah, we're winning.
Yeah.
Until proven otherwise, no matter where Mahomes is going to be, which is going to be Kansas City because he's still locked there for like 10 years, they're going to be
Yeah, that man
contenders.
ain't ever leaving. That man ain't ever leaving.
Yeah. Don't sign Wilson. I've seen him in Denver. He was bad for the team, and Steelers fans will regret signing him, says Jim Manheimer. Well, Jim, I'm going to take your word for it.
And a lot of people, they go back and forth. They go back and forth on it. Don't sign him. He's not good. Some people are okay with the signing. It's just different opinions about the situation.
Well, it's mixed. It's mixed.
That's what I mean.
I think it's worth a shot. Rob Lightfoot says, this is my worst fear. Steelers go into next season as Kenny quarterback 1, Tannehill 2, quarterback 2, and Joe Milton quarterback 3. That'd be terrible. That'd be the worst quarterback room in the league. Absolutely.
It would just be
terrible.
laughable. No one would take the team seriously.
I don't want Tannehill, okay? I want to let you guys know right now, if we couldn't make it known beforehand.
I'll put another sign up here.
Don't sign Tannehill. That would be terrible. Pick up Jerry Rice's son. Big guy, good blocker. Yeah,
Brendan Rice.
Yeah, absolutely. Steelers don't draft a lot of USC guys, but, I mean, the last couple times.
They kind of have.
No, they haven't. They only drafted 2 since Troy. Troy and Juju.
Yeah, you
that's
have
it.
a point. You have a point.
They don't draft a lot of guys
You have
from
a
there.
point. Yeah, you're right.
That's because they didn't look at the West Coast as often. Now they do.
Yeah.
So it's a likelihood. Russ and Black and Gold completely changed the AFC North. Wilson is not washed, people. I don't think he's washed, but I don't think he takes us to new heights. I don't. Wilson beat Josh Allen Mahomes this past season. His comeback win in Minnesota fourth quarter was amazing. He still makes plays with his arms and legs. Yeah, I mean, he's not prime, but he still has a little in the tank. For his age, in Arthur Smith's system, it would be a little interesting. And you could argue that he's the best bridge we have, that we could have. So it depends where he wants to go. Money's a non-issue for him. It's just, hey, where do I want to play? Where's my best fit? Where's my best chance to win?
Yeah.
Arguably, Pittsburgh is that with Mike Tomlin. Russell was not there, a random dude in Bronco jersey at Pitt game. So they mistaken Russell Wilson for a random dude. Why would Russell Wilson wear a Broncos jersey at a Pitt game and someone would be mistaken for that?
Why would he
first of
pack?
all-
Why, no, hold on. Why would he pack a Broncos jersey on his trip to Pitt?
Yeah, and why would anyone mistaken that as, hey, that's Russell Wilson? Clearly that is
Russell Wilson got street clothes.
Clearly that's a Steelers fan that bought a Broncos Russell Wilson jersey and wore it to the game because he supports that idea and was just like, hey, why not? Or unless he's a Broncos fan, just wanted to wear it because he heard about the Steelers news and said, hey, you know what? Let's get a couple chuckles.
Maybe. I don't know. People do shit just for a giggle.
I can go grab my Bobby Boucher jersey right now if I wanted to. I mean, I can make a couple giggles. Hard to pass on Super Bowl winning quarterback Wilson could pull a Brady for us.
I would not go that
far.
far. I would not. I mean, Wilson is not on the level of a Brady. Nowhere near. Nowhere near.
No.
Brady never had a down year.
I'll say this though. Wilson,
outside his last year.
If we get a good Russell Wilson, I think he definitely gives us a chance of winning a playoff game. I'll put it that way. But
we'll see.
But then we're not a quarterback away. We need a lot of other needs.
Yeah.
A lot of other needs. Hoping Colin can fulfill most of those within a week or so.
Yep.
Hopefully by next week's time from now, we can know what we don't need no more.
Yep.
Which could be safety, corner, tackle, maybe center,
Linebacker.
maybe linebacker.
Yeah, just whatever he's looking for.
So, I mean,
Whatever you got his eyes on.
never know, man. You never know. But I'm excited, man. I'm real excited about free agency. It's right here. You know, I mean, we got through the playoffs. We got through the little drought we had of no news or nothing, and now we're getting into one of the more exciting factors of the offseason, which is who are we going to sign? Who are we going to bring in? We got $26 million roughly to work with more hopefully to be created, and we can definitely go out there and make a splash or two, fulfill some of these other holes with some quality starters. And, man, I'm just excited at the possibilities. And I want them to fill. If there's any positions I want them to fill, is strong safety, right tackle, and cornerback too, most importantly.
Yeah.
Maybe linebacker, if you can bring up a name. But that might be asking a little too much. But I think they can do it. But I'm gonna be a little narrow here. I'm gonna say cornerback 2, strong safety, and right tackle. That's what I really want.
Yeah.
Anything else is a bonus, is a beautiful bonus.
I would have to agree.
And then again, that opens up D tackle, wide receiver, slot corner. Center, obviously.
Of course.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens. We're right around the corner. We are just 40. How many hours are we from it? Because it starts at noon, right? Legal tampering starts at noon or something?
And I know if they had a specific time.
Do they have
for
a
Monday.
specific time? Or is it like Monday as of
midnight? I don't know.
It's Monday. That's all I know.
Monday morning.
The legal tampering period is Monday, and that's when teams can officially start signing guys, and then they will become official come Wednesday. So
yep,
that's when we get to figure out what's going to happen. But until then, everything's still a mystery. No, we are not a punter away. Damn it, Art. They're not a punter away. Cody says noon on Monday. Okay, that's confirmed.
All right.
Wes says Con won't let us down. Con hasn't let us down yet, except with Mitch. But that wasn't really him. Except he extended him. So it's still kind of... Regardless, yeah, we all have full faith in Con. In Con, we trust.
King Con.
In King Con, we trust.
Yep.
So, with that being said, I think we're going to close it for a stream, man. We discussed a lot today.
And we did.
There
was a lot to discuss. There was a lot of news pertaining to the Steelers yesterday, coming into today, and, of course, free agency just this upcoming week.
Yeah. Discussed a lot, man. And we thank you guys for joining us tonight as we talked about so much, man. And hopefully by Monday we get some answers. Hopefully by Monday we can fill some of these holes. We can make a splash or two. We can bring in some of these free agents, man. And we won't have to be talking about this as a need anymore. So it's only a matter of time. We are so close away from getting the answers that we all want, from getting the answer to our questions. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Remember, is it move your clock forward an hour? Sunday tomorrow?
Yes.
Daylight savings tomorrow?
Yeah.
So,
fuck.
Yeah.
Swear.
The sun's going down a lot later. So, yeah, move your clocks forward an hour. And that means
we got to get to sleep.
That means we are an hour further.
We're going to lose sleep?
But hey, we're going to lose sleep, but we're an hour closer to finding out who we're going to bring in as a free agent.
Yeah, but I'm going to fall asleep to the news. I'm going to be asleep to the news.
The news isn't happening tomorrow.
Yeah, well, what am I thinking? My bad.
You think today's Sunday?
Yeah, jeez.
No, I wish.
My bad.
I wish.
My bad.
No, anyway, we're going to get out of here now. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, man. And, hey, we might be live on Monday depending on what happens. I don't know. But time will tell. Keep you guys updated. Follow us on Twitter, on X, for any updates regarding the giveaways for the STN members. And, of course, any breaking news as it pertains to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Free agents coming in and free agents going out. So keep in mind for that. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you guys so much for everything. You guys are great. Love the interactions. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And until
it's
then,
always a lot of fun.
Yeah. And until
every
then,
time.
Until then, we'll see you guys next time, man. Here we go, Steelers.
As always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace!
Nah, we love you guys, man. We appreciate everything. Love you guys. Peace out, y'all.
And Steelers Nation, let's ride.
Let's ride? Let's ride.
And try to enjoy it.
It's gonna be a fun ride come Monday. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.